Coliseum and Jim Robson.
Good afternoon, hockey fans. The Vancouver Canucks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Game 2 of the National Hockey League schedule for Vancouver. As a big crowd piles into the Pacific Coliseum this Sunday afternoon, the two teams are on the ice, loosening up for the start of this game. The Toronto Maple Leafs with a brand new uniform. And I know some of the hockey traditionalists, especially those in Toronto, will perhaps offer a mild protest when they see a new Toronto uniform. Not the old familiar stripes around the sleeves or stripes around the bottom of the sweater, but a new type of sweater. Still the Maple Leaf blue color with a white trim, but the white trim is in the form of a white patch across the shoulder, white arms right down to the hockey player's gloves, and a small blue maple leaf on each shoulder, with numbers on the white column on the side and large white numbers on the back. And the Toronto Maple Leaf on the front of the sweater in white with the blue trim. But a new uniform design worn by the Toronto Maple Leafs for the first time here this afternoon. The Vancouver Canucks in their home uniforms. And already that uniform and the modernistic crest is becoming a familiar sight to hockey fans in the West. They're white with blue and green trim. And Vancouver, as is usually the case, will open the game defending the north end of the Pacific Coliseum, which is to our right, as our broadcast location is high above the ice, right at center ice, on the east side of this 15,800-seat building. And the Toronto Maple Leafs will defend the south goal down to our left. Bruce Gamble in goal for the Leafs. And even he's gone to wearing the mask after so many years without one. And little Charlie Hodge will get the starting assignment for the Vancouver Canucks this afternoon. George Gardner played goal in the opener Friday night, won by Los Angeles 3-1. There's the crowd's reaction to the introduction of Charlie Hodge. A few changes in the lineups. The Vancouver Canucks will not dress defenseman Pat Quinn, as they're making a change in their defensive core with Howie Young, signed yesterday afternoon, and he is in the lineup today. Young will be playing on defense, replacing Quinn in the lineup, although Gary Doak's partner will be Dale Talon. Young will partner with Barry Wilkins. Ray Oman-Sly will be the other Vancouver defensive pair. There was some question that Andre Boudria would be able to play today because of a minor injury, but he's out there. Garth Rizzuto from Trail warmed up with the Canucks as a possible starter, but was crossed from the lineup at the last minute when Boudria was declared fit to play. The Toronto Maple Leafs, there's a reception for Howie Young in the Canuck lineup. The Maple Leafs have a couple of changes. George Armstrong is not playing. This dropped from the starting lineup, and he has not signed a contract with the Leafs, so could not be eligible to play because of that fact. And Mike Pellick has had the flu the last few days, and the young Toronto defenseman is not in the Leafs lineup tonight. The officials tonight, the referee is Bob Sloan. The linesmen will be Malcolm Ashford and Neil Armstrong. Linesmen, the same pair that worked here Friday night. Sloan is the referee. And the officials are now being introduced to the fans this afternoon. The Canucks and the Maple Leafs on a Sunday afternoon in Vancouver, and they'll be dropping the puck in 1 minute.
For $291, you can spend a week in Arizona out of this winter. But for just $83 more, you can enjoy a week in CP Air's Mexico out of this world. Mexico isn't just another climate. It's a whole new way of life. Mexico is 3,000 years of history, excitement, and sun that's as warm as the people. For only $374, CP Air will jet you to Mexico's swinging Acapulco. This value vacation includes economy excursion return airfare from Vancouver, a terrace room in a deluxe hotel, 2 cruises, and a lot more than just a tan. Ask your CP Air travel agent about this $374 Mexican value vacation. It's another reason why travel with CP Air is a global affair.
Ready to go. The Vancouver Canucks defending to our right at the north end. We'll start with Charlie Hodge in goal. The defense will be Darryl Sly and Mark Rayom. The forward line will be Andre Boudria at center, Paul Popiel at left wing, and Rosaire Paymont on the right. Toronto defending the south goal to our left. Bruce Campbell in the nets. And their starting defense will be Jim Dory on the left side, Brian Glennie on the right. Up front, it'll be Norm Ullman at center, Ron Ellis at right wing, and Paul Henderson on the left side, and the game is underway with the Leafs in possession. But the Canucks get the puck at center ice, and Boudria dumps it in, left behind the net by Gamble. Dory for the Leafs coming out from behind the goal, passes on the right side, picked up by Norm Ullman, skates to center, in on Rayom at the Vancouver line, put the puck in. Ullman goes to the corner after it. Paymont gets to it ahead of him. They jam into the corner. The puck still in play is kicked around in behind the net. Rayom goes after it. With Ellis behind the Vancouver goal, it's shoveled over for Sly, but he misses it. Ullman picked it up, played it back at the blue line to Glennie. He passes it across for Henderson. It went off his stick. He tried to center it. Ullman picks it up. Leafs in possession in the Vancouver zone, but he failed to get a shot when Rayom checked Ullman, and the Canucks come out. Sly at center, rolling the puck in the Toronto zone. Gamble steers it to the left corner. Paymont failed to pick it up there. Battles with Glennie near the corner. The puck left sitting there. Ullman picked it up and then leaves it for Jim Dory. No score nearing the end of the first minute. Puck is cleared just outside the Leaf line. Mark Rayom of the Canucks tried to get it in, got a second chance, passes it in on the left for Popiel, goes into the left corner for it. Hit hard by Dory, really caught him with a solid check. And Dory comes up with the puck. Coming out quickly on the left. Young, rugged defenseman Jim Dory at center. A long slap shot that misses the net, comes off the end boards, and Hodge steers it to the right corner. Sly picked it up, Dory checks him. Paymont has to go to the corner to get the puck. No score, a minute and 20 seconds gone in the first period. Now the Leafs change on the move as the Canucks start out. Paymont at center. On the left, too far ahead for Popiel, and Paymont was turned around by Walton's check. And Paymont takes a long look at Walton as he heads for the bench. The puck slides in the Vancouver zone, not far enough for icing. At least icing is waved off as Rayom got to it over the red line. Doak hit solidly by the Leafs' Mike Walton, throwing his weight around. Now Mackey dumps the puck in the Toronto zone. A race for it. Hall just failed to get to it. Goes in behind the Toronto goal. Failed to get to the puck. They're starting to hit hard early. Allen at the left point. Puts it in front. It hit a skate. Kurtenbach couldn't get a stick on it, but Mackey has it on the right boards. Mackey took a shot. Blocked in front of the net by Selwood. Canucks now pressing. Mackey dumps it back to Doak. Doak puts it in behind the net. Mackey goes in after it, but Gamble holds it at the side of the goal to stop the play. Score, Toronto nothing, Vancouver nothing. This is NHL hockey from Vancouver.
You always win at McLennan Motors when you buy a new or used car or truck. Come in and register and you might win a stereo, radio, or TV. McLennan Motors, 12th and Queens in U.S. Minster, where the 71s are now on display.
We've played 2 minutes, 11 seconds of the first period. There's no score. Face off to the left of Gamble. There's a discussion between Mike Walton and the referee Bob Sloan about something. Walton, an alternate captain with the Leafs, now skating over to the official score. And I'm not sure what the discussion is about. It may be about the starting lineup. And now the referee is telling the players to stay out of his crease as he talks it over with the official score.
Other games in the National Hockey League today: Montreal at Philadelphia, Detroit at Boston, Oakland at Chicago. In the games last night, Buffalo defeated Pittsburgh with young Gilles Perreault getting the winning goal. Watson got the other. Wally Boyer for Pittsburgh. St. Louis defeated New York Rangers 3-1 before 18,362 fans in St. Louis as they're packing them in there. Waterloo got 2 goals, and Berenson the other for St. Louis Blues in their win. Rattel for the Rangers. Philadelphia defeated Minnesota North Stars 2-1. 14,303 fans in Philadelphia. Dornheffer and Clark for Philadelphia, and for Minnesota was Parise. Detroit over Oakland 5-3. Gordie Howe on defense got a goal and an assist. Other goals: Unger, Del Vecchio, Connolly, and Webster. Dennis Hextall got 2 of the Oakland goals. There's a bit of a discussion, and just about ready to face off, and here again is Jim Robson.
It would appear that the discussion is concerning the Vancouver lineup. Before the game, the Canucks had an extra player warming up, Garth Rizzuto and Andre Boudria. One of the two would dress for the game, and the other would be crossed off. And that appears to be the argument. The Canuck penalty bench is swung open. It looks like Vancouver may get a team penalty for this error in the starting lineup. Boudria is coming out of the players' bench, now goes back in. Either that or the Canucks started a lineup that was not indicated in the starting lineup by the official score. But there is some confusion concerning the Vancouver lineup, and a Vancouver penalty is going to be assessed, and we'll pick up exactly what it is. Mackey is going to the penalty box at 2:11 of this first period. And the play is underway with the Canucks shorthanded. For starting incorrect lineup, 2 minutes. The Canucks started the incorrect lineup, and now an icing call against Toronto stops the play. It's a team penalty, a bench minor against the Vancouver Canucks for starting the incorrect lineup. Now, before the game, the official score goes to the visiting coach, gets his starting lineup. He goes to the full roster, but also puts down the 6 starters. He goes to the home coach, who can then match his lineup with that. And that lineup is written down and must start the game. And if there's any changes in it, then obviously there's the penalty assessed. I think that's maybe one of the few times you've ever seen that penalty assessed, but there it is. And the Canucks are shorthanded right now. Toronto with a man advantage, starting up quickly. It's a Harrison at center, a long slap shot on the net, caught by Hodge, but the play was offside as Harrison blasted a high slap shot, but it may beat him over the blue line.
I don't think you'll find that penalty too often, probably, Jim. The only time you'll see it this year.
And we'll see if it turns out to be a costly error by the Vancouver club. And, of course, the coach would have to be responsible, Al Lako, for this penalty. And the Canucks were penalized for it. It's up to the opposition to point this error out after the game is underway. When the next face-off comes up is usually when they point that out. And the Leafs did point it out. That's the penalty. Now the Leafs in possession in their own zone as we see 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the Vancouver penalty. No score in the game. Early in the first period. Toronto on the attack. Sittler on the right side shoots the puck in the Vancouver zone. Livingston after it. Took a shot that Hodge stopped on the short side, and it was just inside the post. Loose puck in front of the net. Taken away by Lynn Lundy. Coming out for Vancouver. Lundy with Kurtenbach 2-on-2. Lundy with a shot. Good save by Gamble. Big rebound, and Kurtenbach just put it wide as he was partially checked in front. Gamble just got his skate on Lundy's shot. Walton back the other way with Harrison on the right wing taking the pass. His weak shot went off Talon's stick. Lundy gets the puck down the ice. 42 seconds left in the Vancouver penalty. Both teams change on the move. No score. 3.5 minutes gone first period. Toronto starting out. It's the Leafs' Davey Keon at center ice. Going over the Vancouver line, cutting for the goal on the right. Played it back and went off Talon's skate. Keon centered it right in front. Comes back to the blue line and outside the line as Dory just failed to keep it onside. Keon trying to get it on the right for McMillan, but it was broken up by Gary Doak and Dale Talon, and they cleared down the ice. Now the Canucks defense changes as Realm and Sly come out replacing Doak and Talon. Toronto on the attack. Keon a nice move at center. In on Doak, a long drive, and Hodge made a good stop on Keon's long shot. Boudria gets the puck down the ice. 2 seconds left in the penalty. Now it's up. Mackey's on the ice. Canucks at full strength. No score. And this tempo of the game has picked up since the penalty was assessed. And the Leafs come out with Keon at center ice, putting the puck in. McMillan going in after it. Boudria of the Canucks gets to it first. Almost put it in his own goal off the heel of his stick, and Hodge swept it away from right by the post. It almost was put in his own goal by Boudria as he was going by the net and checked, and the puck went off his stick, and Hodge had to be alert there. Keon at center, putting the puck in the Vancouver zone. McMillan after it with Realm. Realm gets to it first in the corner. Tied up by McMillan. The puck comes loose. A jam up along the boards for it. Monahan of Toronto trying to kick it free. Checked by Boudria. Monahan and Boudria jam in. Puck still in play in the corner. Finally, they hold it on the boards to stop the play. The score, Toronto nothing, Vancouver nothing. More hockey action in a moment.
Charles Templeton. Sleep come hard after the game. Tension ride heavy other nights. Try a cup of hot Ovaltine. A hot drink relaxes you, helps you get to sleep. Great stuff, Ovaltine, and it's good for you.
Face off in the Vancouver zone to the left of Hodge. Ullman facing off against Corrigan of the Canucks. The Canucks get possession. Howie Young out there for the first time, missing a pass, then gets the puck off the boards. Passes up on the right. Corrigan didn't see it. And the puck is dumped back in the Vancouver zone. These teams at full strength, 5:07 gone in the first period, no score. Selwood passes the puck away, intercepted by Corrigan, and his pass for Johnson is missed, but Johnson goes to the corner to get the puck. Dan Johnson centered it in front. Corrigan couldn't reach the pass. Now the Leafs come back. Ellis on the right wing has a hard shot. He's at the Vancouver line getting set, but passes back to Ullman, but off his stick to the corner, taken by Wilkins. Tied up by Ullman behind the net. Wilkins slapped it around on the boards, goes after it again with Henderson. Wilkins got it to Corrigan. His pass went astray. Loose puck at center. Ellis picks it up. Puts it off the boards into the Vancouver players' bench, and that stops the play.
Few whistles in this game this afternoon. During that penalty to the Vancouver Canucks, there wasn't a whistle. 2 minutes, over 2 minutes of sustained hockey, and the fans are enjoying it. Just about a capacity crowd here today at Pacific Coliseum.
5 minutes, 39 seconds gone. First period, no score. Boudry at center for the Canucks between Paymont and Popiel with a defense of Young and Wilkins. At the Vancouver line, Wilkins knocked down Ellis. The puck came out to center ice where Ullman played it back. Now it's dumped in by Selwood on the Toronto defense. Rick Lee is their other defenseman. Wilkins of the Canucks around to the right boards for Paymont, still in his own zone. Ahead for Boudria. The pass went over his stick. Selwood at his own line. Across to Lee, bothered by Boudria and Paymont. The puck comes out to center. Young picked it up. Tried to hit Paymont with a pass, but it slides in the Toronto zone. Lee back to pick it up, and the Canucks are called for icing the puck. The score, Toronto nothing, Vancouver nothing, from the Coliseum in Vancouver.
IBM, makers of the Executive Series of dictation equipment and other high-quality business machines, is pleased to participate in these broadcasts of the Vancouver Canucks games throughout the hockey season. For the best in dictation equipment, think IBM.
6 minutes and 14 seconds gone in the first period, no score. Face off to the right of Hodge in the Vancouver zone. Walton against Cullen. Leafs get the draw. Dory's shot knocked down by Doak, and Cullen gets the puck off the board. Johnson racing after it. Now Corrigan picks it up over the corner line. He shoots. It went off the stick to the corners. Glennie got a piece of it. It's played around on the right boards where Harrison of the Leafs picked it up. Played it back for Glennie. Glennie shoots it into the left corner for Dory. Dory's pass went off a stick and the puck rolls loose at center where Duke picked it up and dumped it back in the Toronto zone. Glennie's pass intercepted by Johnson. Over the Leaf line, pushed by Dory. Play goes on. Corrigan gets the puck. Now a penalty is going to be assessed, I believe, to Jim Dory of the Leafs. The first Toronto penalty of the afternoon.
The Vancouver Canucks, Jim, I think in the opening game had a bit of the jitters, as could be expected. A new club, guys hadn't played together, but they seem a little more solid today, settled down, and I think this was their attitude that they were coming into this game.
Elbowing is the call as Dory hit Dan Johnson. Dan Johnson's wearing a helmet today. The first time we've seen him wear a helmet. He didn't wear one during the preseason games of the league opener Friday night. The Canucks power play is Cullen between Kirchenbach and Corrigan, and on the point, Young and Talon. On the face-off, the puck comes to center ice. Howie Young back for it. Just signed his contract yesterday afternoon. Now Talon with the puck, dumping it in the Toronto zone. Lee goes back for it, chased by Corrigan. Lee around behind the net, shoots it off the boards and out to center ice. Dale Talon picked it up there. Shouted by McMillan, out there killing the penalty with Keon. Corrigan over the Toronto line on the right, setting up in the right corner, passes the puck in behind the net. Curtin back in after it, but Glennie got to it. Talon keeps it on side, put it in behind the goal. Lee of Toronto picks it up there, got it to Keon. He slaps it off the boards and down the ice. Glennie, Lee, Keon, McMillan, the penalty killers for Toronto. 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the Leafs penalty. Talon starts out for the Canucks. On the right now to Howie Young. His pass intercepted by McMillan. And he flips it ahead to Keon, and he almost had a break on the left, but the puck was overskated. Talon dumps it in the Toronto zone. There's no Canucks in there right now. Glennie gets to the puck behind his own goal. Starts out on the left. Glennie coming out, just dumped the puck down the ice. And the Canucks power play not effective at all at this stage. Both clubs making some changes on the move. 50 seconds left in the penalty. Here comes Young. Howie Young up the middle. Passes the puck to Cullen. Down the middle over the Toronto line. His pass on the left never got through to Kirchenbach, but it was offside at the Toronto line.
I imagine it's going to take a little time to develop a power play. Some clubs take 5 and 6 years. The Canucks, a new hockey team, they really don't have a power play at this time, which is noticeable so far in these first 2 games.
There's no score in the hockey game. We just passed the 8-minute mark of the first period. Face-off outside the Leaf line to the right. 42 seconds left in the Toronto penalty. Now the Canucks in possession at center. Dale Callan with the puck. Passes on the right wing to Murray Hall. Stick handling along the blue line, and the puck is forced outside the line as he was neatly checked by Monahan, who keeps right after him. Hall gets it over to Lundy. Lundy gets set. He shoots. It's blocked. And the puck is cleared down the ice by Brad Selwood, who neatly blocked the shot. 20 seconds left in the Toronto penalty. Time for another Canuck rush during the power play. Callan circles the goal, then overskates the puck. Having difficulty. Mackey goes back to pick it up. Now 10 seconds left in the penalty. Wayne Mackey on the left wing. Stick handling to his own line. Now he's up the middle at center ice. At the Toronto line, cuts to the right. Goes over the blue line on the right. Goes into the right corner. Puts it in front. Lundy trying to get his stick on the puck. Forced towards the corner to get to it. The penalty now over. Lundy shoots. It's blocked by Selwood. Leafs at full strength now. Monahan has the puck for Toronto. Failed to get it out. Kept in at the blue line by Mackey. His weak pass didn't get through Ricky Lee, who shoots the puck down the ice. Wilkins goes back to touch it, and the Leafs are called for icing. The score, Toronto nothing, Vancouver nothing. Canucks hockey continues in a moment.
Hockey players can't afford sore, aching muscles. That's why Vancouver Canuck trainer Ed Shamlock relies on Rub A535 in the dressing room. Anti-phlogistin Rub A535, fast, effective relief for muscular aches and pains.
We played 10 minutes and 5 seconds of the opening period without a score. Quite an evenly played period thus far. And as Al Davidson stated, the Canucks do seem a little looser today, although not clicking on that power play opportunity, they do appear to be skating better than they did Friday. On the face-off, Vancouver in possession. Doak's shot is blocked. The puck came bouncing out to center ice, and Livingston just failed to get away there. Now Harrison for Toronto. Gives it a Walton over the Vancouver line. His shot deflects high, away up and among the spectators, high up behind the Vancouver goal at the north end.
In between period guests today, and we should have some fun. Great stars from the NHL, Alex Shibicky and Babe Pratt.
A couple of names that bring back a lot of memories. Face-off in the Vancouver zone. Canucks in possession, but having difficulty. Then Wilkins finally got the puck to the blue line. Now he's out at center on the left wing to Mackey. Mackey's long shot went high, off the glass. Rattled around on the boards on the left side. Livingston gets it out to center. Wilkins of the Canucks picks it up there and drives it right back in again. It goes high again over top the net. Dory plays it to the line, but not out. And Lundy picks it up in the center ice zone. Over for Mackey, too far ahead. Glennie of Toronto clears it to center. Wilkins and Doak, the Vancouver defense now. And an offside is called on the Canucks at the Leaf blue line as Mackey was trapped coming out of the Toronto zone.
It's a sign that the south end of the Pacific Coliseum here, of course, Ted Taylor has defected and gone home without signing a contract. It says Ted Taylor, phone Oak Lake, with a phone number there, and that's Ted Taylor's phone number in Oak Lake. They want him back.
Face off in the center ice zone with these teams at full strength as we hit the midway mark in the first period. Sly to Paymont, across to Boudria, over the Toronto line. Boudria moving right in on goal. Couldn't get a shot. He centered it. Right in front. Paymont keeps it in. Now to Doak, and his pass knocked down. Paymont had a great, or rather, it was Popeil who had the great chance in front of the net. And Boudria centered the puck. The pass may have been a bit high to handle, and he just couldn't get his stick on it in front of an open net.
Alex Shibicky was saying he didn't think they had phones that far north. Called Ted Taylor in Oak Lake.
The puck is shot in the Vancouver zone by Henderson. Hodge comes well out of the net to leave it behind the net for Popeil. Bodied on the end boards by Ellis. The puck came out in front, and it rattles over off a stick to Darryl Sly. Sly to Boudria. Over the Toronto line. A shot is blocked by Selwood. Ellis goes to the corner. Hit by Popeil. And Selwood hits Popeil, and they jam in along the boards. The puck's still in place. Selwood picks it up. Popeil tying him up. Boudria goes in to help out. Ellis took a run at Boudria and lost his balance with the puck underneath him, and that finally stops the play in the Toronto zone. The Leafs nothing, the Canucks nothing, with 9:22 left in the first period. The Canucks have Boudria between Popeil and Paymont. And Popeil has missed the best scoring chance of the period thus far, set up by Andre Boudria. The Canuck defense is Sly and Rayon. Toronto just made a change. Young Darryl Sittler, right out of junior hockey at center ice. On the face-off, Dory in the lead zone, shoots it around on the right board. Marchenko couldn't get his stick on it. Loose at the side of the net. Dory took a run at Popeil. Popeil sent it in front, and Gamble cleared away the shot by Paymont in front again. Popeil just tipped it wide. Canucks pressing. Rayon at the left point failed to keep it onside. Rayon clears it off the left boards to Boudria. Boudria hit by Marchenko. Popeil comes back to get the puck. Now in the Vancouver zone to Rayon, starting up on the left. Popeil and Paymont missing great scoring chances for Vancouver. Paymont on the right wing, going in with Boudria. The pass went behind him. Leafs come back. Sittler feeding it ahead to Henderson. One man back. Henderson's shot went high up into the crowd back of the Vancouver goal. The score, Vancouver nothing, Toronto nothing, playing in Vancouver.
The all-new Mercury Comet is the little car with better ideas. V8 or 6, 4 doors or 2, standard transmission or automatic, low-priced and economical to operate. Mercury Comet. It's at your Mercury dealers now.
Back Hall and Mackey with a defense of Doak. And here's a steal by Keon and a good defensive play by Callan blocking his shot as he went sprawling on the ice when Doak lost the puck. Now a jam up near the corner and they start to get a little rough along the boards. We're all getting into it as if something might come of it, but no blows have been struck as they mix it up along the boards near the corner to the right of Hodge.
Jim, the fans in Vancouver are fast to catch on to good work, and Andre Boudria, who's a buzzsaw working all the time, is fast becoming a Vancouver hero.
Kurtenbach and Keon face off in the circle to Hodge's right. The Canucks get possession, but Keon checked it away from Hall. It's back to Ricky Lee. His shot went wide. Comes off the boards, picked up by Mackey on the left wing across to Murray Hall at center. In on the Toronto defense, getting set a shot, just went wide. It's cleared off the boards and down the ice by the Leafs, and there's going to be an icing call when Mackey gets back to get the puck in his own zone. Now Toronto's called for icing.
The Vancouver Canucks have had the better of the play so far in this first period with 8 minutes and 2 seconds remaining. Particularly Popeil had a great chance in an open net and fanned in the shot. Paymont then had another one, and Popeil again. So, good shooting. It could be 1 or 2-0 game for the Canucks again.
Similar to the situation in the first period against Los Angeles, when they just couldn't score when they had the chances in the first period, and later in the game they didn't get too many chances. Out comes Dave Keon at center. In on Doak at the Vancouver line. Keon trying to go around Doak. Getting in close, forced to the corner, centered the puck. Selwood shoots it wide. It's at the side of the Vancouver goal, loose. A scramble at the side of the net. Now the play is stopped. And it looks like a penalty is going to be assessed to the Vancouver Canucks. Mackey skates over to protest to Bob Sloan on the penalty, but there's going to be a Canuck penalty. Interference is the call. Mackey gets the gate. Keon made a good play, and Doak just got a piece of him, but didn't stop him from centering the puck. It came right back to Selwood, moving out on the right. He blasted wide.
Number 11, Wayne Mackey for interference.
12:14 is the time of Mackey's penalty. Pat Quinn is not dressed for the Canucks today. Jim Hargraves has agreed to terms, but has not yet signed a contract. Eddie Hatum is out with an injury. So is Jim Wisty. Ted Taylor and John Arbor have left the club without signing a contract. Armstrong and Pelech not playing for the Leafs today. Armstrong has not signed a contract, and Pelech has the flu. Play in the Vancouver zone. Kurtenbach behind his own goal. Flips it in the left corner for Talon. Couldn't reach the pass. It came out in front. Here's a shot by Dory. Hodge stopped it and grabbed it and held it. Henderson was right in front of the net, knocked to the ice by Doak. And that was not an easy stop for Hodge as he was screened, but the puck hit his goal stick, flipped up in the air, and he caught it.
I think Hal Waco and Bud Foyle will have to be pleased with the goaltending they've received so far. George Gardner, an individual star in the first game. Charlie Hodge looks steady here this afternoon.
7:32 left in the first period. No score. Vancouver shorthanded. Face-off in the Vancouver zone to the left of Hodge. Lundy on the face-off. His shot was on Hodge, but he handled it easily. Rayom flipped it high. Couldn't get it out. It bounces at the blue line. Lundy just failed to get away there as Dory had trouble with the puck. Now the Leafs starting out. Jim Dory at center ice. On the right. Goes over the Vancouver line. Stops inside the blue line. Passes across to Ellis. Getting set. Here's his shot. It hits Rayom and deflects to the corner. Ellis goes to the corner for it. Ron Ellis coming out of the corner for the Leafs. Setting up the power play. Put it in front. Henderson couldn't get a stick on it. Dory has it at the right point. Along into the right corner. Picked up by Ullman. Ullman working towards the goal for Toronto. Turning to get away from Rayom. Still in the corner. Back to Dory at the point. Here's his shot. Hit a leg. Hit Rayom and goes to the right board. Ellis has it there. To the left point to Walton. Here's his shot. It hit Lundy's stick and goes to the corner. Henderson gets it there. Leafs pressing. Kurtenbach then gets the puck out to center. Lundy picks it up. One man back. Going in on Walton. Lundy trying to get in on goal. And the puck got away from him as Walton took him out of the play. Back come the Leafs. 48 seconds left in the Canucks penalty. Ullman down the middle. Over the Vancouver line. Stick handling to the right. Turns back towards the blue line. Passes to Walton. Walton getting set. The puck went off his stick. Sly picked it up. Sly ragging the puck out at center. Got away from one check. Carries it back to his own line. Gives it to Rayom. Rayom flips it across to Boudria. Boudria to Kurtenbach by himself at center with two men back. In on Lee on the right. Boudria getting in front. And the puck is grabbed by the goaltender. Scramble. A loose puck. Kurtenbach picks it up. Open net. He scores! Vancouver 1, Toronto nothing. Orland Kurtenbach hit an open net as Gamble had trouble controlling a goal-mouth pass that Kurtenbach had thrown up for Boudria, and the puck got away from Gamble. Kurtenbach picked it up, got out in front, and backhanded it into an open net while killing a penalty. It's unassisted at 13:57. Boudria was there, and being there, he was a factor in the goal being scored, but he didn't handle the puck. But Boudria, being right close to Gamble, bothered him enough so that he had trouble with the puck. It went to Kurtenbach, who took his time and then flipped it high into the unguarded net. And a big lift for the Canucks, scoring while killing a penalty. And now an offside pass on Toronto stops the play. The score is Vancouver 1, Toronto nothing. More NHL hockey in a moment.
This is Bobby Orr. After a close shave, I always use Yardley Black Label Aftershave. Gives me a refreshing lift and leaves my skin feeling cool and comfortable again.
Take a tip from Bobby Orr. Ask for Yardley Black Label Aftershave at Better Men's toiletry counters everywhere.
Toronto now starting out. The teams are just about at full strength. Mackey preparing to come on. Now he is on, and the play is stopped for a face-off at center ice, and the puck was held on the board. Mackey out of the penalty box. Vancouver very successful in killing that penalty.
Orland Kurtenbach's unassisted goal, as you said, Jim, certainly will give this Canuck club a boost. They're playing steady hockey now, a great improvement from their opening game.
Wilkins of Vancouver trying to hit Cullen with a pass. It's out of his reach. Play in the Toronto zone. Ricky Lee gets the puck, carries it in behind the net. Lee starting out. His pass went astray, picked up by Howie Young, and he's hit hard by Harrison as he puts it high into the corner. Cullen goes in after it. Corrigan also there, bumps with Lee, and the puck is taken by Darryl Sittler of the Leafs. He overskates it at his own line, recovers it again, gets to center, hauled down by Cullen, who checked him from behind, and Corrigan of Vancouver takes over in his own zone. His pass intercepted at the blue line. Here's a chance for Harrison. He shoots it hard, stopped at a big rebound out in front, and the puck tips wide of the net. Hodge just did handle that shot by Harrison. Another chance for Leafs. Harrison's backhander knocked down by Wilkins. He grabbed the puck and held it as he fell to the ice. Then the play is stopped. Now there's some pushing and shoving between Sittler and Young. They're all getting into it. A big pile-up of players in front of the Vancouver goal. A little pushing and shoving, but nothing else at this stage at least. Harrison getting that shot on Hodge, and then a second chance was grabbed by the defenseman Wilkins. He perhaps was fortunate that he wasn't penalized for grabbing the puck. He seemed to catch it right out of the air and just haul it right down and then drop to his knees.
5 minutes left in the first period. Vancouver 1, Toronto no score. Kurtenbach unassisted at 13:57 while killing a penalty. Canucks have Corrigan, Johnson, and Cullen. Corrigan's taking the face-off, so Cullen's the center iceman on the line. Keon and Corrigan face off in the circle to Hodges' left. Armstrong, the linesman, dropping the puck. Vancouver getting possession. Wilson checked by Keon. They go into the corner along the boards, and the puck is held again to stop the play.
A great crowd this afternoon attests to the fact that the Toronto Maple Leafs have many fans in the Vancouver area through television or radio, and the guy responsible is doing a broadcast back to Toronto, Foster Hewitt, in the next booth to us.
Play in the Vancouver zone. Leafs, Keon in possession, starting for the goal on the right, working towards the net. Wilson staying with him. He tried to center the puck, and Johnson comes back to break it up. It's still in the Vancouver zone. Johnson ran into the Toronto player Monahan, and the Canucks get out to center, but no further. Then Monahan bumped off stride by Corrigan. Cullen failed to get the puck, and hit by Dory, and Dory's going to get a penalty as Dory cross-checks Ray Cullen. Dory, of course, made quite a debut in the NHL a couple of seasons ago. In his first game, he set a record for penalty minutes in a single game. And ever since then, been quite a target of the fans for his rugged play. Although he's toned down considerably from his first few games in the NHL.
Toronto penalty, the number 8, Jim Dory, for cross-check. 2 minutes. Time 15:31.
So at 15:31, the Leafs are shorthanded. Vancouver leading 1-0. Canucks and Kurtenbach, Mackey, Hall, and on the point, Talon and Doak. The draw comes back to Doak at the right point. Over to Talon at the left point, winding up. Here's his shot. And it was just off the skate of Gamble and just went wide of the post. I don't think he saw it. And now the play is stopped as the puck was held on the end board. Close call there as Gamble had that puck go off the inside of his left skate and then just missed the post. Face off between Selwood and Kurtenbach in the Toronto zone. It comes to Hall. Hall turning in front is checked. The puck comes outside the blue line, and Talon goes back to pick it up. McMillan, Keon, the penalty-killing forwards for Toronto. Selwood and Lee, their defense. Talon at center, misses Kurtenbach with a pass. The puck comes loose. Kurtenbach picks it up again over the Toronto blue line on the left. Dumps it back to Dale Talon. Here's his shot. Gamble caught it and held it to stop the play.
Jim, I think we're going to see a little fisticuff action before this game is over, as both clubs are starting to mix it up a little bit, and just about every face-off they get their sticks up.
Face off to the right of Gamble. Kurtenbach and Selwood again. On the face-off, the puck left in the circle, picked up by Rick Lee of the Leafs, and he flipped it very high down the ice, bouncing in the Vancouver zone. Hodge comes away out to beat Keon to the puck, and Doak gets to it now. To Talon, to Hall, at center ice. Over the Toronto line, down the middle, going in with Kurtenbach, taking the pass, he shoots, and it's stopped by Gamble. Kurtenbach around behind the net, to Doak at the right point. Doak passes back to Kurtenbach. Kurtenbach setting up from the right side, taking his time, turning along the boards, behind the net now for Mackey, to Doak at the right point. Doak getting set, in the right corner to Mackey. Mackey getting set, tried to center it and failed, gets a second chance, has the puck in the corner, back to Doak at the right point. Still not getting a shot. He takes a shot and hits Keon and bounces out to center. 48 seconds left in the Toronto penalty. Talon to Kurtenbach over the Toronto blue line. Kurtenbach shoots and went away wide. Came off the boards for Monahan of the Leafs, and he deflects it to center ice. Toronto changed their penalty killers on the move. Ellis and Monahan out there now. Mackey over the Toronto line. His pass back missed Kurtenbach and comes out to center ice. Talon takes it in over the Leafs blue line on the left. Talon trying to go through the defense, and he's dumped at the last minute. He almost got through. Play in the Toronto zone, and the puck is now held in the boards to stop the play. The score is Vancouver 1, Toronto nothing. This is Canucks hockey from Vancouver.
At Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, they recommend the two-account plan. A personal checking account is the low-cost way to pay bills. A Commerce savings account to earn higher interest on your savings. Find out how more of us do more for you at the Commerce.
Booster Country Club who've flown in for this game. And there are going to be quite a few Edmonton Calgary fans throughout the year in this Pacific Coliseum. Face off again in the Leaf zone to the right of Bruce Campbell with 23 seconds left of the Leaf penalty. A jam up in the circle. Ellis of Toronto trying to get the puck out. It's tied up by Lundy. The puck comes back to Wilkins at the point. His shot deflects wide into the corner. Monahan of the Leafs gets to it there. Lost it to Cullen. Cullen and Monahan battle on the boards. The puck is kicked free. Lee picks it up behind the net. Clears it around to the right boards for Ron Ellis. Ellis fanned on it at the blue line, and Corrigan picked it up. The penalty just about up to Dory. Now he's on the ice. Toronto's back at full strength. Still 1-0 Vancouver. Howie Young on the right, over the Toronto line. Cutting it on Monahan. Goes down in the right corner. Still Young and Monahan battling along the boards. Cullen gets it out in front, and it goes right to Dory of the Leafs. Toronto coming back. Dory on the left wing at center. Hit the Vancouver line. Ran into Corrigan. Still has the puck. Took a shot. It dribbled wide off Wilkins. And now the play is stopped, and there's going to be a holding penalty. The Vancouver Canucks are going to be penalized, and it looks like Mike Corrigan is going to get the gate for holding Dory as he tried to prevent him from getting that shot away and grabbed him. Corrigan goes to the penalty box.
Mike Corrigan for holding 2 minutes. Time 17:23.
The Canucks with a 1-0 lead scored the goal while killing a penalty. Kurtenbach unassisted. Now the Leaf power play, and a lot of experience in the power play. Walton and Keon are at the points. Ullman at center, Ellis on the right, Henderson on the left. 5 key players for the Leafs. All National League veterans. On the face-off, Walton at the left point. Here's a shot. Hit Boudreau's stick, goes to the corner. Boudreau gets the puck and backhands it down the ice. Boudreau, Popeil, Sly and Rayom, the penalty killers for Vancouver. Davy Keon for the Leafs. The team captain of the Toronto club passes on the right to Ron Ellis. On the right wing at center, a long left wing pass goes into the Vancouver zone. Hodge comes out of the goal to stop it. Cleared it around in the corner. Ellis gets it there. Then it went off his stick. It's loose along the boards, and Rayom got it out to center ice. Keon to Walton. Back to Keon. Back to Walton on the left. He's at center ice. Dumps the puck in. Hodge watches it, then leaves it for Sly, who goes behind the net. Lost it to Ellis. Ellis puts it off the inboards, and Rayom slaps it to the blue line. Keon keeps it onside there. Keon turning it away from Boudreau. Rayom got a stick on it. It's loose at the side of the net. Ellis right in front, turning, trying to get a shot. Hit by Popeil. The puck is loose. Ullman's weak shot. Another shot stopped by Hodge. Henderson robbed Hodge, or was robbed by Hodge right in front. And the puck is shot down the ice by Popeil. Paul Henderson pivoted right in front and took a whack at a loose puck, and Hodge had it go off his pad. 50 seconds left in the Vancouver penalty. 55 seconds left in the period. 1-0 Vancouver leads. Leafs coming out again. Looking dangerous here. Henderson at the Vancouver line. Turned around at the blue line, and Ullman recovers the puck. Now he's turning at center. On the right to Keon. Over the Vancouver line. Ran into Rayom. Kurtenbach gets the puck. Over to Boudreau on the right. He's at center ice. Misses the check. One man back. Boudreau going in on goal. Getting set a backhander. Stopped by Gamble. A rebound. Kurtenbach took a whack at it and couldn't get his stick on it at the side of the net. And the puck comes out to center. When Boudreau and Kurtenbach are out there killing penalties, they're very effective and even dangerous. The puck is shot down the ice by Rayom. Kurtenbach almost collided with Gamble, who had come out of the net. Loose puck at the side of the Toronto goal, and the Leafs recover. Keon in behind the net, watched by Kurtenbach. 12 seconds left in the period. Keon starting out slowly. Takes a long shot that hits Sly, bounces into the corner in the Vancouver zone. Rayom picked up the puck, goes around behind his own goal, backhands it off the board, out to Corrigan, who's back on, and now the buzzer sound as the first period comes to an end. That's the first period of today's game. The score, Vancouver 1, Toronto nothing. A summary in a moment.
Ammo Power Tools invite you to see how skilled chainsaws put the power where it counts, in your hands. And because they have the power, they make your cutting jobs easier on the farm, around the home, at the weekend cabin. You can cut and stack a winter supply of firewood in no time at all. Trim trees or cut them down. Cut posts and rails for rustic fencing, just like professionals. Come into Ammo Power Tools and see how skilled chainsaws put the power where it counts, in your hands. Ammo Power Tools also have a hockey special for you on the lightweight, powerful Skill Model 1631. A direct drive chainsaw, ideal for limbing, cutting firewood, or felling small trees. For work around summer homes, fishing and hunting cabins, suburban homes, or farms, the 1631 is perfect. Regular $199.95. Special $149.95 now at Ammo Power Tools. Get in on this great hockey special at Ammo Power Tools. Your chainsaw center, 1357 East Hastings at Clark Drive, Vancouver.
After one period of play, the Vancouver Canucks lead the Toronto Maple Leafs 1-0 on a goal by Orland Kurtenbach. It was scored as an unassisted goal, but at the end of the period, Kurtenbach was over discussing with the officials before, I'm sure, the possibility of getting Boudria an assist. Boudria was a factor in the goal, although perhaps he did not handle the puck. He was in front of the net, and Gamble was having trouble getting control of the puck with Boudria there. It was picked up by Kurtenbach. Gamble off to the side. Kurtenbach got out in front and flipped the backhander high into the unguarded net. At 13:57. Penalties in the first period handed out by referee Bob Sloan. A bench liner to the Vancouver Canucks for starting the incorrect lineup. They had started a different lineup than the one on the official score sheet, so the penalty was assessed at 2:11. Dory of Toronto elbowing at 6:45. Mackey of Vancouver interference at 12:14. Dory of Toronto a cross-check at 15:31. Corrigan of Vancouver holding 17:53. Shots on goal in the first period by Vancouver 9, by Toronto 6. So after one period of play, the Vancouver Canucks 1 and the Toronto Maple Leafs 0. There'll be more NHL hockey in 3 minutes.
The home of the CFL and the NHL in the West. Follow the professionals on CKNW. This is the news. Maury Hesketh reporting, NW News. In a letter to his wife, kidnapped Quebec Labor Minister Pierre Laporte urges the government to meet terrorist demands for the release of jailed terrorists to save his life. The Quebec cabinet is meeting in Montreal. Premier Bourassa says there will be a statement after the meeting. It appears Prime Minister Trudeau is being kept under close guard this weekend. There was no comment to queries about the PM's whereabouts. New president of the Young New Democrats is 19-year-old Ron Johnson of Burnaby, who calls for more involvement with the youth community, working with draft dodgers and transient young people. A 17-year-old Prince George motorcyclist has been killed as his bike collided head-on with a car just east of Prince George. 2 teenage Surrey boys, no names released, are dead in a car-trailer truck head-on collision near Spence's Bridge. Pope Paul today criticized inconstant members of the church who spread dissent. More violence in Hamilton, Bermuda, and the government fears the tourist industry will be irreparably harmed. In sports, Baltimore took a 2-0 lead in the World Series, defeating Cincinnati 6-5. In Western football, Saskatchewan leads Winnipeg 17-4 at halftime. The weather, cloudy with rainy periods tonight, cloudy tomorrow with afternoon sunny periods. Current NW temperature reading steady at 51. That's the news. More news following the second period of the hockey game. The second period of today's game is brought to you by Players Cigarettes. It's going to be a great year for the Vancouver Canucks. Players Cigarettes enjoys bringing their games to you. It's Players' way of expressing their appreciation for your appreciation of the Players family of cigarettes. Players Filter, Players Kings, and Players Plains. You've proved beyond any doubt that you're getting great satisfaction from the good taste of Players cigarettes simply by making them the largest seller in all of British Columbia. And Players is going to keep it that way by never letting up on guaranteeing you satisfaction. A whole team of talented people take great care to maintain the exceptionally high Players quality standards. If you're going to play, aim to win. That's the Vancouver Canucks way of playing. And it's Players' way of making. Players please. Always have, always will, because there's quality in the making.
The Vancouver Canucks leading Toronto Maple Leafs 1-0 at the end of the first period here at Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver. My between-period guests, Babe Pratt and Alex Shibicky. A couple of great lifetimes of hockey. Orland Kurtenbach scoring an unassisted goal while the Vancouver Canucks were shorthanded. And Alec, you were saying that this brings back some fond memories to you.
Yes, Al, it certainly does. Looking back on a few years back, I was with the two Colvilles when Lester sort of talked us into a good offense is better than any defense when you're a man short, and we scored a lot of goals while we were short. And this afternoon, I thought Boudreaux did all the work, and Kurt just played it perfect. And goaltenders should never leave their goal crease, and Kurt took his time, and it was a beautiful effort.
Yes, and you're talking about Lester, Patrick, of course, and the good days of hockey with the Babe. And there's a young fella, Babe, who reminds me, in a way, of you, and you are a master of it, and that is getting that puck out of your own zone. And this Dale Callan has a lot of puck sense.
He has, and he knows what to do with it when he gets it. He feeds the forwards. In fact, sometimes I think he's so far ahead of the way the forwards think that they don't realize that the puck is on their stick. When they turn to go, all they have to do is leave their stick down there, and he hits it. And this is the way the game should be played. Callan does this very well, and he's also a terrific point man. He moves in with the play. He doesn't just stand there and put his head down and slap it. He moves in with the play, and this guy can shoot, he can slap it, he can do anything. In today's hockey, the slap shot, you've just got to have it, because fellas that are playing today have never ever learned how to shoot with the wrist. But Callan has both, and this is going to be an asset to him. I think that even right now, I think he's just as good a point man as what there is in the league.
I was explaining in the first period, Babe, that I thought the Vancouver Canucks in the opening game had the first night jitters. They looked a little shaky, and a lot of them admitted it in the dressing room. But I think they've settled down here, Alec. This afternoon, leading 1-0, out shooting Toronto 9-6. I think the Buck Fever is over for them.
It certainly is, Al. I was at the Friday game, and at times there they threw the puck around like a hot potato. This afternoon, I think their heads are up. They see the picture much clearly. They're playing their positions much better. They're going for the breaks. I think their defensive play is twice as good as it was Friday. I think it's confident.
And this Andre Boudreaux is fast becoming a Vancouver hero, more or less, hockey hero, in that every minute he's out there, he is just working his trousers right off. He's a hard worker.
Yeah, Al, he's not afraid to carry the puck into the defense, and he draws both defense with him. This is the point. Cullen's the same type of hockey player. They carry that, and so is Kurtenbach. They carry the puck right into two defensemen. If you can carry, there's nobody can ever hurt you or hit you when they're backing up. And this is when you get those defense backing up, they cannot body check you. They can stick, all they can do is stick check you and block you, but they cannot hit you. And if you can get a man fast enough to get around behind that defense as you're carrying it in, and with a little dump, why, your wingman will have a lot of scoring chances. But I also thought that Toronto had two real good scoring chances. One was spoiled because Ellis out there shot. It was a 3-on-1 break, and he had two men behind the defenseman, and he elected to shoot. The defenseman blocked the shot, but here the other night, Barry let go a shot. Callan went down on it, screened the goaltender, and went in the top corner of the net. So I would say on those two plays, they're batting .500. We were always taught years ago, never shoot on a 3-on-1 or 2-on-1 break. Today's hockey, with the way they can shoot the puck, they can shoot the puck a lot harder today than they used to. And so they just blast away. And if they catch the corner, fine and dandy, it's in the net. But today, when Ellis elected to shoot, instead of make the play, why, I think Toronto might have had a goal on that occasion. Then Henderson missed a chance. Oh, he was maybe he was in a little too close, but he was in about 10 feet from the net, and he had a terrific chance, and Hodge foiled him.
I think if you walked into this rink and saw that first period and didn't know past history, you'd never know that the Vancouver Canucks have only been in operation a very, very short time. I think the only way you'd recognize it, Alec, is the fact that when the Vancouver Canucks get a power play, they just don't have one at this stage.
Well, that first penalty Toronto got, and admit that Vancouver didn't look too good. But Toronto uses that box formation in their own end, and that makes it kind of difficult. any team that uses that box to perfection makes it pretty rough for the forwards. And seeing that Vancouver is a green club stepping into the NHL, it's going to take time for them to gel. And it goes down to heads-up hockey. And the player that gets in the slot is the one that's going to pay off for the club.
Talking about our guests personally now, Babe Pratt, of course, is an assistant to Bud Foyle, doing a great job with the Vancouver Canuck Hockey Club. He's mostly on the banquet circuit, and that means good news. And I think it was one of the smartest moves the Vancouver Canucks have ever made since they came into being, and that was the hiring of the Babe, because everybody likes him, and he gets along with everybody, press, radio, visiting hockey players, and he's just a great hockey man. And Shibicky, I've often said on my radio programs here in Vancouver that I'd like to see you back in hockey. Particularly, you're great with the kids. And I understand you had some successful hockey schools this year.
Well, Babe here, he couldn't operate it this year. He operated last year at the Burnley Winter Club. And I took it over, and I enjoyed every bit of it. And I'm pretty sure that all the players enjoyed it as well.
And you were coaching junior hockey one stage in Flin Flon.
Yes, I put in 4-year stretch there, Al.
And you set it up pretty good for them because they eventually went on to go to the Memorial Cup, did they not?
And they were nice enough to phone me and ask me to come down for the dinner.
Well, that's great. And as I say, and I've said on the air, I'd like to see Alex Shibicky back in hockey where he belongs. He's a great, great teacher of kids in particular. It'd be nice to see him teaching the kids because I think this is where the basic hockey starts, Babe. If they get good junior coaching in particular, they're on their way.
It's the fundamentals that count. All the real good players have them. You know, a fella can skate all day and night, but if he doesn't have a little skull practice here and there, and if he doesn't get somebody to teach him, I don't care at what level, that you can't go out and just tell a man. You've got to physically teach him, whether it's in the NHL or whether it's an 8-year-old kid. Some fellas go through life. I noticed some of the moves that Pat Quinn makes, some of the moves that Wilkins make out there on defense, you know. If somebody like Lako is getting them now. Lako couldn't understand why that they ever went through that far in their lives and never were physically told and taught how this game should be played instead of going through and banging the puck against the boards and giving it away. And when you give that thing away, the opposition have a chance to do some damage with it.
Two of the finest teachers of hockey and great names, Babe Pratt and Alex Shibicky, have been my guests. They'll be back again between the second and third period. The score is 1-0, Vancouver Canucks over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Stand by for the second period face-off.
Almost 100 years ago, a solicitor's son did something solicitor sons never did. He opened his own tobacco shop. His name was John Player. He had a feeling for tobacco. He cut, measured, blended, and wrapped only the finest. And day after day, people came to his little store to buy their favorite blends. So his business grew. A few years later, he had 200 girls making 2,000 cigarettes a day by hand. And because John Player insisted on strict standards of quality, his business grew even more. Today, John Player's strict standards still apply. Player's cigarettes are carefully blended from the finest tobacco available. No handmade cigarettes could receive more care or quality in the making. And you get this quality in Player's filter, Player's king size, and Player's plain. Player's. There's quality in the making.
We now go to the second period with the Vancouver Canucks leading Toronto Maple Leafs 1-0, and the official score, after consulting with the others involved, the referee and the statisticians, have awarded an assist to Andre Boudria on the Vancouver goal by Orland Kurtenbach. As we pointed out during the play-by-play, Boudria was certainly a factor in the goal being scored. He was in front of the net when Gamble had trouble with the puck and it got away from him. And it went over to Kurtenbach, who put it in the net. And Boudria does get an assist. So it's Kurtenbach from Boudria, 13:57 of the first period, the first goal of this hockey game. As we start the second period, teams are at full strength. Toronto defending the north end to our right with Bruce Gamble in goal. And the Vancouver Canucks to our left at the south end with Charlie Hodge in the net. Hodge wears number 1, Gamble number 30. Toronto in new uniforms, a new uniform design. Still the familiar blue and white colors, but not the usual striping that we've learned to recognize as a Toronto uniform. Play underway with the Leafs shooting the puck to the Vancouver line, controlled there by Sly. Sly and Rayom, the Canuck defense, and Rayom lost the puck to Henderson. Boudria then shoots it over the boards and out of play. The Canucks with Rayom and Sly on defense, Boudria between Popeil and Paymont, the forward line. The Leafs going with Norm Ullman at center between Henderson and Ellis, with a defense of Dory and Glennie, and a shot went wide of the Vancouver goal off the face-off. Rayom plays it around on the boards, failed to get it up. Paymont failed to get it out. It's still kept in the Canucks zone. Slide back to pick it up, chased by Ullman. Now Rayom in the left corner to Boudria, deflects it neatly to Popeil on the left wing at center ice. Try to get it over to Paymont, who is checked. Paymont gets the puck back out at center ice. Shoots it off the right boards. It goes right to Dory. Dory gives it to Ullman. On the left to Henderson over the Vancouver line. Back for Ullman, but it deflects over to Boudria. Boudria to Popeil at center ice. Shoots it in the Toronto zone. Glennie dumps it out again. Rayom picks it up at center. Rayom carries over the Leaf line, gives it to Paymont. Here's a long drive. It went high over top the Toronto net. Rayom deep in the Toronto zone. Puts it in behind the net. And Dory clears it around on the boards for Henderson. Forced back by Paymont. Dory goes to the corner to get the puck. Out to Ullman. Now on the left side for Dory at center. In on the defense, and he pass offside. Ellis was in too soon.
Dale Talon is celebrating his 20th birthday today. And one of our guests, the great Alex Shibicky, is celebrating his 20th wedding anniversary today, and kindly condescended to break up a family get-together to come down and be in our broadcast. Thank you, Alex.
1 minute and 13 seconds gone in the second period. Canucks leading 1-0. Curtain back between Hall and Mackey for Vancouver. Talon goes to defense. Selwood takes a long shot. Hodge stops it easily, turns it to his right for Hall. Hall bumps along the boards. The puck centered. Picked up by Mackey of Vancouver, coming out on the left. At center ice, checked by Harrison, who rode him off the puck, but it goes back to Talon, taking it in, a long drive that's stopped by Gamble, shoveled it to the left corner. Hall got it there, centered it. Here's a chance for Mackey. Scores! Vancouver 2, Toronto nothing. Wayne Mackey from Dale Talon. As Talon did the work, got that puck and made a fine pass back to Mackey, who was coming in from the left. Got the puck and fired it from about 25 feet, quite high off Gamble's left side.
Scored by number 11, Wayne Mackey. Number 23, Murray Hall. Number 139.
Well, we'll say that Murray Hall gets the assist on the goal. We thought it was Talon who was in on the play as well, but Hall gets an assist on the goal by Mackey at 1:39, and the Canucks lead 2-0. Here's a long drive by Walton, goes way high up into the crowd, back at the Vancouver goal at the south end.
Jim, you can think of the fine hockey future that this Dale Talon has, celebrating his 20th birthday today. And if you ever saw Babe Pratt play, some of the moves this kid makes just identical.
2-0 Vancouver leads on the goal by Mackey. After Kurtenbach's goal in the first period. Toronto on the attack with Harrison's long drive that Hodge stops. A big bouncing rebound that Talon takes off and circles the net. Talon coming out, a neat pass on the right for Corrigan. Now to Cullen at center. Cullen with Johnson taking the pass on the left wing. His weak shot went wide. He goes in behind the net for the puck. Plays it around on the boards to Doak. Doak moving in on the right. Passes it right out in front. Cullen didn't get a shot. Loose puck. Cullen gets it again. He shoots. And it's a good stop by Gamble at the last minute as he was partially screened. Doak at the right point. Puts it in front. Corrigan shoots. It's stopped by Cook. Another shot by Johnson. And finally Gamble holds the puck as he falls to the ice. Gamble was tested 4 times in about 20 seconds. Corrigan, Cullen, Johnson, all getting scoring chances. The score, Vancouver 2, Toronto nothing. This is NHL hockey from Vancouver.
Goals are the big thing in hockey, and great goals are worth achieving. Like the winning quality of Players. It's prime good tobacco taste. Players, please. Always have, always will. because there's quality in the making.
We played 2.5 minutes of the second period. Vancouver with a 2-0 lead. Face off in the Toronto zone to the left of Gamble. Howie Young keeping it onside for the Canucks. Dumps it in behind the net. And the Leafs get possession there. Brian Glennie on the right side to Keon, coming out quickly up center ice on the right, over the Vancouver line. Kicked by Young. Still as the puck threw it out in front. It was intercepted by Hall, but here comes the penalty to Howie Young. As Walton got a stride on him, and Young was hooking him, trying to slow him down, and was having difficulty checking the great skater Dave Keon, who draws the penalty at 2:46 of this second period.
Vancouver penalty, number 17, Howie Young, for hooking, 2 minutes, time 2:46.
Well, the hooking penalty to Young puts the Canucks short-handed for the fourth time tonight, this afternoon, rather. Many windows in there.
No, it does seem like an evening game after you get into it. And that number 20, you expect Fulford to skate down the ice. He had that number for so long, but it's Monahan now.
Fulford still wearing the number, but now with Los Angeles, and did he play a great game Friday night? Canucks killing the penalty with Kurtenbach, Lundy, Doak, and Wilkins. Toronto organizing in their own zone. Now they start out with Keon. Passing on the right side for Ellis over the Vancouver line. Here's his shot. Oh, did he shoot hard? Went off the glass and off the boards and all the way out to center ice. Ellis was one of the hardest shots in the game. He really blasted that one, but off the target. Kurtenbach chases Keon back deep in the Toronto zone. Ellis comes back to help out. Dumps the puck in the corner for Walton. Or rather, Ullman, and he was bothered by Kurtenbach, doing a great job of penalty killing. He knocks the puck loose, but Ullman picks it up. Ullman gets out to center at the Vancouver blue line. Ullman moving in, cuts it up, puts it across for Keon, and couldn't reach it. And there's the Toronto player, Henderson, alone in front of the net. Wilkins finally got over to check him. Dory at the left point, a long shot went wide. Comes off the boards to Ellis at the right point. Ellis passes across for Ullman. He put it wide. Wilkins gets to the puck behind his own goal for the Canucks. Try to cover up. Bothered by Ullman. The puck goes loose. Henderson gets it for the Leafs. Goes into the corner. Back at the left boards to Dory. Here's his shot. Went high up and out of play.
Vancouver fans are certainly behind Kurtenbach, who scored the first Canucks goal while his own team was a man short, and he showed some great checking there and kept the puck for quite some time in the Toronto zone while Howie Young of the Canucks are in the penalty box. Kurt, as he's known to all his fellow players.
Dale Talon is getting an assist. Now we'll check on the scoring in a moment. Play underway in the Toronto zone. Play in the Toronto zone. The Leafs still with a man advantage. 33 seconds left in the penalty. Here's a long drive by Walton. On the net. Turned to the left. Goes in behind the net in the Vancouver zone. Played around on the boards and Dubia gets it out. Brad Selwood is back for the puck now with only 14 seconds left in Howie Young's penalty. Canucks leading 2-0 nearing the 5-minute mark of the second period. Harrison coming out for Toronto. Passes on the left side for Livingston over the Vancouver line, and it's offside. Looks like Walton's in too soon on the right wing. The score, Vancouver 2, Toronto nothing. More hockey action in a moment.
Great hockey players aren't simply born to it. It takes time and professional training. Like in the making of players' quality. They take the trouble to make sure players please. Always have, always will.
Play in the Toronto zone for this upcoming face-off with 3 seconds left in the Canucks penalty. Boudry had a face-off against Mike Walton. The puck controlled by Toronto. Livingston on the left wing starting out, got to the blue line, just missed a check from Paymont. The Canucks back at full strength. Now Walton carries it over the Vancouver line on the left. Wilkins falls, checking in. The puck went loose, is thrown out in front, and Hodge steers it away to Boudry. Playing it off the right boards for Paymont. Couldn't get to the puck. Jumped back in the Vancouver zone by Livingston. Now the Canucks coming out. Being brought out by Howie Young to center ice.
Dumps it in the corner in the Toronto zone. It comes off the boards and is steered away by Gamble, but Boudria kept it in. His pass went off Popeil's stick. Toronto starting out of their own zone, having difficulty as Popeil, forechecking well. Paymont gets the puck, but it was outside the blue line, and he took it in, trapping teammates offside. With a 2-0 lead, the Vancouver Canucks over the Toronto Maple Leafs, it appears that Coach Hal Layco at this stage is going to be content with playing some very close checking hockey to try to keep that 2-goal lead, and will try and score, I guess, if he gets some breaks. But he's playing defensive hockey right at this time. That has been a Hal Layco trademark in his success in the Western Hockey League. Once his clubs got out in front, they were that much tougher to catch. Of course, it's a brand new company this year and much tougher competition. Play in the center ice zone. Barrels fly of the Canucks, rolls it in the Toronto zone. Glennie going back for it. Carries it in behind the net. The teams are at full strength. Canucks lead 2-0 nearing the 6-minute mark of the second period. Glennie starting out for the Leafs. On the left to Dory. Dory gets to center, gives it to Monahan. Over the Vancouver line, the play's away offside as Keon was in about 3 strides too soon. Curtain back from Boudria, 13:57 of the first period while killing a penalty. And Mackey from Hall at 1:39 of the second period. Curtain back between Hall and Mackey for the Canucks with the defensive Sly and Rayome. Rayome along the left boards. Out for Mackey, but he misses the pass. Goes down the ice. It's waved off, the icing call, as the puck went over to Dory. Now Keon in his own zone having trouble with Hall. The Canucks forechecking very well. The Leafs can't seem to get out of their own end now. The puck dumped back in. Gamble comes out to shoot it to the boards. Hall picks it up. He's in behind the Toronto goal. Now it's Mackey behind the Toronto net with the puck. Plays it back to the right point to Darryl Sly. Here's his shot. Never reached the net. Deflects to the corner. Keon plays it around on the right boards. It goes to Mackey. Here's his shot. Gamble kicks it out. Big rebound. Taken off by Glennie. On the left to Keon. In on Sly with Glennie on his right. Over the Vancouver line. A backhander by Keon deflects off Sly's stick and goes high and out of play.
While the Canucks lead 2-0, Bruce Gamble has been tested many times. In the first period, Paul Popeil had an open net. The puck bounced over his stick. And about the 2:30 mark of the second period, Gamble had to make 4 good saves and another one just there.
6 minutes, 39 seconds gone in the second period. Face off in the Vancouver zone, outer edge of the circle to Hodges' left. The puck went over to Dale Talon. Talon on defense with Doak. Talon's pass handed to Henderson. Henderson shoots wide from 30 feet out, and Talon just handed him the puck. Still in the Vancouver zone. Doak in behind the net, watched by Ullman. The pass in the left corner to Talon, coming out. Flips it ahead to Corrigan. Now on the left wing for Johnson. Over the Toronto line. Back to Corrigan. He's shot. Was blocked. Never reached the defense. And the Leafs come back as they start to open up. Ricky Lee at center with Ullman on his left. They go over the Vancouver line. Lee trying to go through the defense. Talon puts the puck away. It's sitting at the Vancouver line. Picked up by Dan Johnson on the right wing. And he just rolls it in the Toronto zone. Selwood back for it. Chased by Corrigan. They go behind the net. Selwood out in front. Almost lost it. It went loose in the Toronto zone. And it's recovered by the Leafs. Ron Ellis down the middle at center. On the left for Henderson. Cutting in on the left, getting set. Here's his shot. It went away wide. In behind the Vancouver goal. The puck left sitting at the side of the net, then in the mesh, and that stops the play. The score is Vancouver 2, Toronto nothing from the Coliseum in Vancouver.
A winning line puts top effort into their game. There's no easy way. Players, too, has been striving to keep quality constant with great care and many improvements. Players, please, always have, always will.
12 minutes and 29 seconds left in the second period. Vancouver with a 2-goal lead, 2-0. Face off to the left of Hodge, Boudria. Between Popeil and Paymont for the Canucks. Doak and Talon in defense. Walton and Boudria faced off. Vancouver getting possession. Doak behind the net to Talon. Shoots it around on the right boards to Paymont. Hit the official. Paymont came back to get the puck. Now to Boudria at his own line. Over to Popeil on the left wing at center. Over the Toronto blue line, working in close. And the puck got away from him at the last minute when Glennie took him out of the play. Still in the Toronto zone. Popeil's shot. It was blocked as it hit Glennie. Loose puck at center picked up by Paymont. Back to Doak. Doak starting out on the right. Gets to center. Bothered by Mike Walton. Turns. Shot the puck to the Toronto line. It bounces over to Paymont. His high shot misses the net. Gamble leaves the puck. Harrison has trouble with it as he was checked by Boudria. Dory for the Leafs. Out from behind the goal. Boudria stole it from him. Dory had Boudria's stick all tied up, and Dory is going to get a holding penalty.
And again, it was the hard work of Andre Boudria. Who wouldn't say die. He went in and did some great checking with Dory grabbing his stick. Referee Sloan caught it. So the Toronto Maple Leafs will be a man short for the next 2 minutes.
Toronto penalty, number 8, Jim Dory, for holding.
8:17, the time of the penalty to Dory, who grabbed Boudria's stick and wouldn't let go, and Boudria was trying to get to the puck. Canucks with a 2-0 lead and the man advantage. Face off in the Toronto zone to the left of Gamble. Vancouver's power play, Kurtenbach, Hall, and Mackey. On the point, Wilkins on the left, and Howie Young on the right. On the face-off, Kurtenbach in the circle tried to get the puck, but lost possession, and Keon picked it up. Stick handling at center. Keon ragging it back to his own line, passing it back to Ricky Lee, across to Brad Selwood on the right. Selwood puts it to the Vancouver line, and Keon just failed to reach it there. Hodge out of the net. Keon giving him trouble, stole the puck, but couldn't get a pass out in front. There was no one to pass to anyway. Hall from behind his own goal for Vancouver. Off the left boards to Mackey. Getting slowly to center. Long right wing pass for Kurtenbach. Over the Toronto line. Kurtenbach took a shot. It went off the leg. Wanted behind the net. Hall checked there. Kurtenbach gets the puck behind the Toronto goal. Still playing with it along the inboards. Very strong. Gets the puck to Mackey. Back for Hall, who misses it. Lee goes to the right corner for it. Ran into Kurtenbach. The puck still in the Toronto zone. Mackey tried to keep it onside. Finally, it steered out to center. Taken offside by Keon as the pass went over 2 lines. The score, Vancouver 2, Toronto nothing. Canucks hockey continues in a moment.
Being a loyal fan is that much easier when your team's a consistent winner. And that's pretty much the way it is with Players cigarettes. Players please. Always have, always will. And that's why so many people like them.
15,542 here this afternoon, 480 more than the opening game.
Play in the Toronto zone. The Canucks still with the man advantage for another 58 seconds. Cullen along the boards, tried to get the puck to Corrigan. It came back to Young at the right point. He passes in front of the net. It was intercepted by Lee. He flipped it ahead to Monahan. Gary Monahan of the Leafs steers it to center and to the Vancouver line. Young has it there, had difficulty with Harrison and was forced back. Young having difficulty controlling the puck. Now he starts off quickly. Howie Young at his own line, up the middle. He's at center. At the Toronto line. Leaves a trailer for Corrigan. He shoots and hits Young as he was cutting in front. Allen gets the puck. Almost lost it, and almost a break there for Monahan. Had he got control, he might have had a breakaway. Play in the center ice zone. Harrison for the Leafs, going in on Young at the Vancouver line. Getting set, a shot deflected off Hodge's stick to the left corner. Harrison gets it again. Working out of the corner, but lost the puck. Lundy takes over. 8 seconds left in the Leaf penalty. Lundy carries up the middle. He's at center ice. At the blue line. Took a shot. It went off Lee to the corner. Lundy almost stole it there. Loose in the corner in the Toronto zone. It's played to the line, but not out. The Leaf penalty is over. Young failed to keep it onside. Dory out of the penalty box. Team's at full strength. Canucks leading 2-0. 9.5 minutes left, second period. Puck slides loose in the Vancouver zone. Young back to touch it, and Toronto's called for icing the puck.
Toronto's Dory is the bad man of the game so far, being penalized 3 times, 6:45 of the first for elbowing, and he's put off at 15:31 of the first for cross-checking, and here in the third period, at 8:17, Dory for holding.
9:26 left in the second period with the score 2-0 in favor of Vancouver on goals by Kurtenbach and Mackey. Face off to the right of the Toronto goal, comes back to Rayon, his shot, blocked in front, and Boudria just failed to get his stick on it. Now in the corner, Popeil centered it in front, and it's grabbed by Gamble as it dribbled to the goaltender in the crease. Boudria is one of the smallest men in the game, but he's not afraid to get in front of the net. He doesn't seem to get hit that often. He sort of slides off a lot of those checks. In the Toronto zone on the face-off, Glennie getting the puck for the Leafs. Boudria checking him, but the pass went ahead to Ullman. A long pass for Henderson. Just failed to click at the Vancouver line as the play is offside.
15,542 fans here at Pacific Coliseum this afternoon.
Face-off in the Vancouver zone. The Canucks in possession with Rhéaume and Sly on defense. Boudria up front between Popiel and Paymont. Boudria's pass for Paymont too far ahead. A race for the puck in the Toronto zone. Gamble comes out to get to it and sweeps it to the boards to Henderson. Paul Henderson tied up in there. The puck steered back to Ullman, now to Dory. Dory back passes for Henderson. Ran into Sly. Puck picked up by Boudria in the Leaf zone in the corner. Boudria turning, trying to center the puck while pushed by Dory. Still Boudria with the puck. Still Boudria with the puck. Trying to put it in front. And it was steered away by Glennie. A lot of effort by Andre Boudria. Now Henderson out for the Leafs at center. On the left side for Ullman. Over the line, lost the puck and Slide just dumps it to center ice. Comes off the boards to Henderson. Backhands it in the Vancouver zone. The team's change on the move. Rhéaume for Vancouver behind his own goal. Coming out on the left of Hodge, Mark Rhéaume, formerly played with the Leafs, passes on the right for Paymont, ahead to Kurtenbach, over the Toronto line, cutting in on the right, forced back, still has the puck, now in the corner with it, puts it in behind the Leaf goal. Popiel tried to center it, but it was picked up by Selwood. Selwood down the right board, carries to center, leaves the trailer, nobody there, goes right to Kurtenbach, back the other way on the right now to Paymont, over the Leaf line, Paymont shoots, Gamble stops it, Kurtenbach tried to center the rebound and just failed. Henderson back for Toronto. On the left to Keon. Keon at center. In on Sly. Cutting for the goal. Keon dumps it back for Henderson. His shot hit Rhéaume. Rhéaume gets the puck. Over to Kurtenbach on the left. He's at center with Hall. Hall takes the pass at the Toronto line. Winding up. Here's his shot. Stopped by Gamble. The rebound cleared away as Kurtenbach collides with Selwood in front of the net. And now they're really opening up. Keon racing at center for the puck. Lost it at the Vancouver line as Rhéaume poked it away. Monahan takes over. Puts it over on the right side for Marchenko. And he was sparing lane. He couldn't control the puck. Mackey at center for Vancouver. Really skating now. Over the line. Nice move. Cutting in, and he's checked at the last minute before he could get the shot. As Monahan came over to check him. Monahan turning at his own line for Toronto. 7 minutes left in the second period. Monahan veers to the right. In on the Vancouver line. Ran into Mackey. Lost the puck. Callan takes over. Behind his own goal. Neat moves to try and get away from Keon, forcing him back the other way. Callan plays it off the boards to Mackey. He shoots it off the glass, but it went out of play among the spectators. The score, Vancouver 2, Toronto nothing, playing in Vancouver.
Time out. Time for a Players. Light up and enjoy the finest tobacco and the finest quality cigarettes. That's where real satisfaction comes from. Quality. Quality that never wavers. Smoke Players. There's quality in the making.
The Leafs have Walton between Livingston and Harrison. Dory and Glennie the defense, and on the face-off, Vancouver gets possession. A pass off the board, picked up the center by Cullen. Over the Toronto line, Cullen shoots, and Gamble juggled it, but stopped it and swept it in behind the net for Dory. Dory back for Toronto. Feeds it ahead to Mike Walton at center. Harrison on his right, over the Vancouver line, a shot. Hodge stopped that one, and it was a tough one to stop. But Walton fired it high and hard, and now a jam up on the boards near the corner, and that stops the play in the Vancouver zone.
Walton of the Toronto Maple Leafs has to have one of the best shots in the National Hockey League. He doesn't take much time, and that wrist shot gets away like a bullet. More of a wrist than Bobby Hull's, I think, Jim.
Fired that one labeled, and Hodge stopped it with a last-minute move. Hodge, very quick reflexes despite his many years in the game. Gary Doak having difficulty with Walton on the end boards in the Vancouver zone. Doak kicks the puck free. Corrigan goes in to help out. Clears it around in the left corner to Dale Talon, starting out on the left wing at center. At the Toronto line, trying to go through. The puck left loose. Johnson picked it up. Just failed to center it. It's behind the Toronto goal taken by Harrison. Harrison checked by Cullen, stole the puck. Johnson now has it in the corner. Gets it back to Corrigan. Back at the blue line to Doak. He took a shot that was high and knocked down. Corrigan gets it again to Cullen. He shoots. He stopped the door. Johnson. Dan Johnson on a rebound right in front of the net. And the score is Vancouver 3, Toronto nothing. Cullen was set up in front. As Corrigan made a good play to play the puck across. The shot was stopped. The rebound went right to Dan Johnson standing in front. And young Danny Johnson scores his first goal as a Vancouver Canuck in NHL company.
Scored by number 8, Danny Johnson. Number 10, Ray Cullen. Number 12, Mike Corrigan.
Corrigan assisted. 14:08 the time. It's 3-0 for Vancouver. Now an offside at the Vancouver line. Corrigan very coolly set up that play. Instead of blasting a shot into a crowd, he took his time and spotted Cullen, fed him the pass. His shot was stopped, but Johnson scored on the rebound. Pays off at the Vancouver line. Wilkins for the Canucks, missing Boudria with a pass, and Ricky Lee takes over. Lee putting the puck in the Vancouver zone with the help of Norm Ullman. And Barry Wilkins is back behind his own goal for the Canucks. Wilkins coming out from behind the net, watched by Walton. Passes on the right to Young. Young ahead to Paymont. Paymont at center ice with Boudria. They go over the Toronto line. Boudria takes the pass. Getting in close, right in on goal. And the puck is grabbed by Gamble, and he holds on. And a great play by Boudria. The score, Vancouver 3, Toronto nothing. More NHL hockey in a moment.
Satisfaction. That's what you want from your cigarette. Light up a Players and you'll find out what satisfaction really means. It means the finest tobacco, the finest quality. You'll be satisfied with Players because there's quality in the making.
5:15 left in the second period as Howie Young took a shot that hit a skate. It's loose in the Toronto zone. Finally, Henderson of the Leafs gets it over to Ullman. He carries to center ice. Ellis on his right. They go to the Vancouver line. The play broken up there as Ullman was dumped when hit by Howie Young. Paymont at center for Vancouver. At the Toronto line. Here's to the left board. Still with that puck. Back to Popilu. Shot deflects high up and among the spectators.
Good body check by Howie Young, and the combination of young Wilkins, who doesn't have that much experience, and Howie Young, if he stays away from the cheap penalties with just loads of experience, that combination is working out real well, Jim.
Howie Young has played with several NHL clubs and has been some problems for those clubs on and off the ice. Working hard out there today, adding a lot of spark to the Vancouver club. He's the kind of a guy that'll go out there and stir things up. Henderson at center for the Leafs, shooting it in the Vancouver zone as Hodge turns it to the left corner. Played around behind the net by Ellis, and Ellis was checked solidly by Paul Popiel, and Wilkins ran into Henderson, and Wilkins hit Ullman. Was back after Henderson. The puck picked up by Paymont as the Canucks come out. They're taking charge of the game. A long drive. This is the Toronto goal. Popiel keeps it in. Popiel goes in with Ellis and hammers him against the board. Here's a loose puck as Wilkins couldn't quite get to it in the Toronto zone. The Canucks are playing with a lot of confidence right now. Boudria steals the puck at the Toronto line. Boudria to Popiel. Now Paymont right in. He shoots. It's stopped. They shoot again. Another save. A scramble. A shot. They score. In the scramble, makes it 4-0. Paymont had gone right in after being fed the puck by Boudria, tested Gamble twice. The puck went loose and Gamble was down. And in the scramble, Mackey, who had just come on the ice on a line change, got in front of the net. He appeared to be the one to whack it home. And it's 4-0, and the Canucks are really taking charge of this hockey game at 15:52 of the second period. 15:58. Correction on the time. 15:58. Mackey gets the goal. There is a big reaction to a hard check at center ice. We pick up the assists on the goal. Paymont got one of the assists, and Boudria got the other. Mackey was leveled by a heavy check at center ice. Wayne Mackey is now rubbing his mouth as Brian Glennie is being sent to the penalty box. He really hit Mackey with a hard check at center ice, and the crowd reacted to it. Right off the face-off, Mackey was blasted to the ice, and Glennie's going to get the gate. The crowd is calling for more penalty, and so is Coach Hal Lako. Mackey, who received 2 cuts in the game Friday and had to be stitched for cuts to the mouth, got belted in the mouth with an elbow there, and Glennie gets the gate at 16:05, 7 seconds after the 4th Vancouver goal. Mackey from Boudria and Paymont, the scoring play for the 4th Canuck goal. Face off in the center ice zone with the Canucks with the man advantage, but Keon gets the puck, plays it back, and it's backhanded down the ice as the Leafs are killing off that penalty. Billy McMillan out there with Keon as the penalty killing forwards. McMillan steals the puck at the side of the net, failed to get a shot. Talon plays it off the boards, and Keon picks it up. Keon plays it back to Dory. Keon been one of the few bright lights for the Leafs so far today. Long bouncer on Hodge. He handles it easily. Talon behind his own goal. Passes in the right corner to Howie Young, coming out quickly on the right. Overtaken by Keon, but he still has the puck. Goes in on the defense. Passes on the left for Kurtenbach. Down in the left corner. Coming out of the corner with the puck. Kurtenbach behind the net. Still has it. Plays it back to Young. Plays it back. Blind pass. Went right to McMillan. As Young just back passed without looking, and it went right to the Toronto player. Could have cost him a breakaway. Kurtenbach in behind the Vancouver goal with 3 minutes left in the second period. Vancouver leading 4-0. Murray Hall with the puck now. Straight up the middle at center. In on the Toronto defense. Passes for Talon. Couldn't reach the pass. Gamble comes out of the net to steer it to the corner. Then Talon runs into McMillan along the boards. Kurtenbach battling with Liddington along the boards in the Toronto zone. Liddington couldn't get the puck out. Hall dumped it back into the corner. It's picked up there by Murray, who's on defense for the Leafs. For the first time tonight, Kurtenbach dug the puck out of his skates, but the whistle had blown first. The score, Vancouver 4, Toronto nothing. This is Canucks hockey from Vancouver.
It's a great game. Why not match it with a great cigarette? Players. When you light up a Players, you get all the real satisfaction that comes from the finest quality tobacco. Try Players cigarettes. You'll discover there's quality in the making.
Danny Johnson's goal, which gave the Canucks a 3-0 lead, is his first ever in the National Hockey League. He's only playing his second NHL game. Here's a shot by Wilkins off a face-off in Toronto territory. Never reached the net. Still in the Toronto zone. Cullen in the corner with the puck. Ran into Lee. Cullen keeps his balance. Centered the puck. It's loose in front, and Corrigan had it go off the end of his stick. 28 seconds left in the Toronto penalty to Glennie. Play at the Vancouver line. Harrison moving in. Leaves it back for Liddington. Tied up by Cullen and couldn't get a shot. Doak puts it behind the net to Wilkins. Just over 2 minutes left in the second period. Cullen leaves it for Wilkins again behind the net. Wilkins having difficulty in there. Now he starts out. Passes on the right side for Ray Cullen at center ice. Corrigan on his left. Goes over the Toronto line. Cullen down in the right corner. Plays it back at the blue line for Lundy now to Doak. Back in the right corner for Lundy, who misses the pass. He goes in with Lee on the end boards. They jam in and freeze the puck.
4-0, believe it or not, for the Vancouver Canucks. Kurtenbach unassisted. They gave an assist on that to Boudria. 1-0 in the first period. Wayne Mackey with 2, and Danny Johnson with his first ever NHL goal has given the Vancouver Canucks a commanding 4-0 lead. And I think the score is indicative of the play here this afternoon, as the Canucks have been playing good hockey.
Face off to the left of Bruce Campbell in Toronto territory. The puck cleared into the corner. And it comes loose out to the blue line to Rayom. Here's his shot into a crowd, knocked down in front by Ricky Lee of the Leafs, who comes out quickly to center. His pass on the right too far ahead. Loose puck in the Vancouver zone, steered by Rayom, but not out. It's put in behind the net. Dug out by Harrison of Toronto. His pass across for Walton hit the side of the net from the left side. Cullen to Corrigan, coming out with Johnson on the left wing, taking the pass. One man back. Johnson back to Corrigan. Tried to get it back to Johnson, but it was broken up by Brad Selwood, and his pass went loose to center ice. Sly just dumps it back in the Toronto zone. Sly Rayom, the Vancouver defense. The forward line, Cullen, Johnson, and Corrigan, but it's changing on the move. Sly picks up a loose puck at center, just dumps the puck back in the Toronto zone. And the Canucks have really dominated this second period, which is just about over now. 58 seconds left in the period. Selwood in his own zone, chased by Paymont. Puck goes over to Walton. He just dumps it out to center ice. The Leafs are at full strength again, but they just can't seem to get an attack going right now. Paymont takes a pass off the right boards, gives it to Boudry at the Toronto line. Checked from behind by Henderson. Selwood clears the puck out to center. Riom takes it there, across the sly on the right. His pass for Paymont is left, and it's controlled by Lee. Over on the right side is Selwood. Selwood back to Lee on the left. Now he's at center. Back hands the pass in offside as Henderson was in too soon at the Vancouver line.
15,542 Vancouver fans and Edmonton fans, as some Edmonton people have flown in on that special hockey charter deal, being entertained this Sunday afternoon. The locals, who had a shaky start, settled down and are leading 4-0.
Last half minute of this second period. Play in the center ice zone. And Dory ran into Sly and grabbed Sly around the neck as he battled with him on the board. Now Boudry with the puck at center. A long bouncing shot that Gamble turned to the right corner. Popeil goes in with Glennie. They jam it along the boards. Boudry helps out. The puck's still in play. Glennie picked it up for the lead. Still along the boards. Tied up by Popeil. And they freeze the puck to stop the play. 3 seconds left in the second period. And his face-off in Toronto zone will be between Norm Ullman and Lynn Lundy is coming out now to replace Boudria just for the face-off. Try and get a shot off the face-off. Lundy motions Mackey and Sly to move a little bit, getting ready for the face-off. On the face-off, the puck loose in the circle. Lundy gets it back, but it's too late to get a shot away as the buzzer sounds to end the second period. That's the second period of today's game. The score, Vancouver 4, Toronto nothing. A summary in a moment.
McMillan on the right side. And Monahan at left wing. The defense is Lee and Selwood. Vancouver with Kurtenbach between Hall and Mackey. The defense of Sly and Riom. On the face-off, the puck is shot to the Toronto line. Ricky Lee on the left side getting possession. Off the boards for Monahan, checked by Hall along the blue line. Puck still in the Toronto zone. Lee picked it up again for the Leafs and cleared it to center ice. Into the Vancouver zone, a race for the puck. Riom getting to it ahead of McMillan and circles his own goal coming out on the right. Riom passes to Kurtenbach on the right wing for Hall, takes it off the boards. Got away from Lee's check. Went into the right corner with Monahan. Monahan along the boards getting possession. Dumps the puck out to center ice and into Vancouver territory. Riom skating back after it, chased by McMillan. Riom getting to the puck to stop the play with an icing call against the Maple Leafs. 36 seconds gone in the third period. 2 Canuck goals by Mackey, others by Kurtenbach and Johnson. Face-off will be in the Leaf zone to the right of Bruce Gamble. Kurtenbach against Keon. The 2 leaders from these clubs, and a whistle blew as the puck was dropped. Someone moved offside. Both Keon and Kurtenbach team captains. Armstrong, the linesman, dropping the puck. It's controlled by the Canucks at the left point. Talon with a long shot that Gamble got a piece of and kicked out. Selwood into the left corner in his own zone. Watched by Kurtenbach. Plays the puck back to Ricky Lee. Up the middle for the Leafs at his own line. Lee's at center. Dumps the puck into the corner to Hodge's right. It comes off the boards to Hodge, who leaves it for Gary Doak. Doak in the Vancouver defense, having difficulty getting out. Finally got the puck ahead to Kurtenbach on the right board. He's over the Toronto line to Hall. Hall shoots, and it went wide. Gamble flipped it in behind the net. Hall centered it. It's a bouncing puck. Kurtenbach picked it up. Turning along the right boards near the corner and into Monahan. Mackey comes in to help out to Kurtenbach. Kurtenbach in behind the net trying to center the puck. Mackey digs it out. He's bumped solidly behind the net by the Toronto forward McMillan, and the puck is brought out to the blue line and then out to center ice by McMillan. There was broken up as Talon passes across to Doak. Doak back to Talon on the left at his own line. At center ice to Mackey on the left wing. For Hall over the line with Talon going in on goal, and the pass didn't get over to Talon, or the shot by Hall. In either case, deflected off a Leaf player, and Talon was really breaking for the net, but apparently Hall either didn't see him or couldn't get the puck to him. Loose puck at the Toronto line as the teams change on the move. Mackey, now at center ice for the Canucks, dumps the puck in. 2 minutes gone in the third period.
4-0 for Vancouver. Both teams change. Toronto starting out. Glennie with a long pass intercepted by Howie Young. Takes his time and dumps the puck in as he collides with Glennie at center ice. And when Young's on the ice, things happen. Behind Gamble, the Leaf, Jim Dory with the puck. Watched by Ray Cullen. Cullen knocked the puck away from him. Dory recovers. Almost lost it again. Now it's picked up on the left wing by Liddington. In on Howie Young. Put the puck in. Dory goes into the corner after it. Wilkins went after him. And the puck is cleared around on the boards by Corrigan. It comes back to him off the boards. Ahead to Cullen at center ice. Cullen and Corrigan in on the Leaf defense. Cullen getting set. Still has the puck. Plays it back for Johnson, but it went behind him. And Young made a good play to keep it in the Toronto zone, but then the puck is cleared to center ice. Wilkins has it there. Goes to the Toronto line, just rolls it in. It's left by Gamble for Harrison, who lost it to Johnson, who almost centered it from behind the Leaf net. Loose puck at center ice. Young picks it up, drives it in, but it's offside as Cullen was trapped in the Toronto zone. The score, Vancouver 4, Toronto 0. This is NHL hockey from Vancouver.
The next time you need a new car, ask the Bank of Commerce branch in your neighborhood to help with a Commerce Bank Plan loan. They call it a bank plan loan because it's a loan with a sensible repayment plan based on your financial situation. It's one more way more of us do more for you at the Commerce.
Just past the 3-minute mark of the third period, Vancouver with a 4-0 lead. Teams at full strength. Realm's pass off the left boards for Paul Popeil. Puts it in the Toronto zone as the Canucks dump it in. Lee back behind Bruce Gamble, coming out on the left. Pass went astray, slides the length of the ice. Darryl Sly back to touch the puck. Toronto's called for icing.
Coach Hal Lako was hoping for, well, 2 wins if possible, but certainly for a split before they move off on the road in St. Louis. And it appears at this stage he's going to get that split, and this win is going to do this Vancouver Canucks Hockey Club a lot of good. They lead 4-0. Of course, they haven't got it won yet.
Toronto coming out at center ice. Henderson with the puck. Backhands it to the Vancouver line. It hits Paymont, and Rosaire Paymont got possession of the puck. Passes to Popeil on the right to Boudria at center in on the defense. Paymont getting in front, and the pass didn't get through from Boudria as Selwood intercepted. Selwood on the left boards for Henderson. Henderson passes right to Popeil at the Toronto blue line. He shot it in as he was hit by Selwood. Ricky Lee from behind the net, bothered by Boudria. The pest, he keeps right after him. Chases him back the other way. The puck comes off the boards to Ron Ellis. Over on the left wing to Henderson. Now to Ullman at center ice. Dumps it in the Vancouver zone in the corner. Popeil back for it. Overskates the puck. Kept in by Ellis, and Ullman dumped it around and behind the net. Taken by Darryl Sly. Too far ahead for Paymont. Henderson for the Leafs. Try to get it to Dory and failed. Loose puck on the Vancouver line, then put back in offside. As a couple of Leafs were trapped in there. Notice the trainer, Bill Gray, working on the right wrist of Dale Talon at the Vancouver Players Bench.
Had a lot of inquiry about your next broadcast away from home, Jim.
That'll be in St. Louis tomorrow night. It's an all-night flight tonight for the Canucks, and an overnight flight gets Vancouver's team into St. Louis at 6:40 this morning, or tomorrow morning, I should say, and the broadcast time is 5:40. Now an icing call against the Canucks stops the play again. So at 20 minutes to 6 tomorrow afternoon on CKNW in Vancouver, you'll hear the Canucks St. Louis team.
I'll be listening.
Face-off coming up in Canuck territory to the right of Charlie Hodge. As we near the 5-minute mark of the third period, and the pace of the game slows a little bit. The Canucks are content to protect the lead, dumping the puck in quite a bit. And the Leafs just unable to get much going. And the Canucks are checking very tightly, which is part of that reason. Gary Doak on the inboards, getting away from Sittler. Gives the puck to Kurtenbach on the right wing to Hall, but he couldn't get out. Now here's a penalty being assessed. As Gary Doak was hauled down, hooked on the play, trying to get out of his own zone, and the penalty is going to be to Liddington of the Leafs. Bob Liddington goes to the penalty box. The score, Vancouver 4, Toronto nothing. More hockey action in a moment.
Your free 1971 Shakespeare full-color catalog is now at your favorite sporting goods store. It's filled with fishing tips and techniques. If they haven't a supply, write to Don Miller, Shakespeare Company, 1014 Mont-Royal Boulevard, North Vancouver, B.C.
Liddington's penalty was for holding at 4:50 of this third period. The Canucks with a man advantage. Talon on the left. Over the Toronto blue line. Plays the puck across in front, and Hall couldn't quite reach it. Goes to the corner with Curtin back to get the puck. Hall digs it out. He's behind the Toronto goal. Hall with the puck. Mackey getting in front. Here's the shot by Talon. And a good glove save by Gamble. Rob Dale Talon. Danny Johnson has got his first ever NHL goal, and Dale Talon, celebrating his 20th birthday today, was robbed by Bruce Gamble on that one. A great shot. Gamble came up with a perfect glove save. The would-be storybook of young Talon could get his first ever NHL goal today on his 20th birthday. Face off in the Leaf zone, controlled by Jim Dory. Shoots it around on the boards and out to center ice where Doak takes over. Across to Talon. Talon plays it off the right boards to Hall, who overskates it. It's recovered by the Leafs' McMillan, and then Glennie picked it up and shot it to the Vancouver line where Talon takes it. On the right wing for Hall. Plays it back to Doak, watched by Keon. Doak passes for Talon. Talon on the left side at center ice, carries to the Toronto line. Talon trying to go through. Couldn't get through, but Kurtenbach gets the puck in the left corner. Threw it out in front. It comes back at the right point to Gary Doak. Doak plays it on the left point to Wayne Mackey. Mackey takes a shot. Knocked down in front. Talon gets the rebound. He shoots in. It was stopped on the short side by Gamble, who was down blocking that short side. Keon backhands the puck down the ice with 53 seconds left in the Toronto penalty. Leafs changed their penalty killers. Kurtenbach for Vancouver, starting out of his own zone, slides it across to Gary Doak. On the right wing to Murray Hall, who is checked neatly by Monahan, who cleared the puck back in the Vancouver zone. Hall is backcourt. 4-0, the Canucks lead. 35 seconds left in the Toronto penalty. Hall coming out quickly on the right wing at center. Over the Toronto blue line, Hall winds up a shot, and he missed the far corner along the ice with a hard slap shot, and the puck rebounds all the way back into the Vancouver zone. Howie Young is back for it. Canucks changing on the move. Young in behind Charlie Hodge. Now starting up slowly. Howie Young up the middle. Passes to the Toronto line for Corrigan. It was out of his reach. The puck was in behind the Toronto goal. Picked up by McMillan. He lost it to Cullen. They jam it along the boards. Mackey comes up with the puck now. Back to Young. Here's his shot. Partially blocked by McMillan. The puck went to the corner. Liddington's back on. The Leaf penalty's over. Liddington failed to take a high pass at center, and Wilkins is back the other way. At the Toronto line, gives it to Mackey on the left wing. Here's his shot, and it's stopped by Gamble, and it was on the target, but on the short side, and Gamble had it covered. Harrison for the Leafs. A pass intended for Walton. Takes it off the boards over the Vancouver line. The play's offside as two Leafs beat Walton over the Vancouver blue line. The score is Vancouver 4, Toronto nothing from the Coliseum in Vancouver.
We would like to welcome Snyder's to our first season of Major League Hockey broadcasts. You know the Snyder's name for outstanding quality in meats and cheeses. Look for Snyder's bacon, ham, sausages, and cheeses at your supermarket or store. They are in a league all by themselves.
Face off just outside the Vancouver blue line to the Canucks left. Cullen against Walton. The Leafs getting possession. Liddington shoots it in the Vancouver zone. Wilkins of the Canucks gets it behind the net. He's working on defense with Howie Young. Pass on the right wing to Corrigan. Ahead to Cullen. Johnson on the left takes the pass, but it's offside. Just a shade offside as they had a good chance for a 2-on-1 situation that was nullified.
Norm Allman is having a real slow start. Didn't show very much in the exhibition series, and his name has been mentioned, I guess, maybe twice this period so far. He's got to produce if the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to do anything, and he isn't producing in this game.
12.5 minutes to play in the game. Vancouver leading 4-0. Play at the Toronto line. Slapped by Neil Murray out there to use sparingly on the Leaf defense. Now the Canucks bring it back. Corrigan over the Toronto line on the left to Johnson. Across for Wilkins. It was deflected away from him, and Walton just about got into the clear, but Wilkins got back to intercept. Wilkins over the Toronto blue line. Cutting it on the right. Passes neatly to Corrigan. He shoots. Kicked out. And Johnson just failed to get to the rebound.
Johnson in the corner with the puck. Trying to get Cullen in front. A loose puck went off Cullen's stick. Back on the lead. Mike Walton up the middle. In on Howie Young over the Vancouver line. Gives it to Harrison. The backhander went across the goal mouth. Back comes Johnson for the Canucks. Overskates, but goes back to recover in his own zone. And he just missed a great scoring chance. Pass across to Cullen. Cullen over the Toronto line. Off the left boards for Corrigan, but he couldn't get to the pass. This line is looking good. That's Cullen, the key guy at center between a couple of youngsters, Corrigan and Johnson. Corrigan, a long slap shot on Gamble. He caught it and left it for Dory. Teams change on the move. Canucks leading 4-0, and the crowd applauds the Cullen line as it leaves the ice. Dory for Toronto. Passes on the left, too far ahead for Ron Ellis. Popeil gets the puck and just dumps it off the boards to center ice. Selwood for Toronto on the right. Over on the left side to Lee as the two Toronto defensemen pass it back and forth. Selwood now at center ice. Over on the left board for Henderson, but it deflects instead to the Canucks defenseman Darryl Sly. Now to Boudria. Boudria down the middle, getting set a shot. He scores! Vancouver 5, Toronto nothing. Gamble ducked as Boudria backed up the lone defender and then fired it just under the crossbar. A high shot as he was using Sly as a decoy on his right. Sly had passed to Boudria originally. Boudria from Sly at 9 minutes, and Vancouver has a 5-goal lead. It appeared Brucey Gamble thought that shot was going to hit him on the head, and he was screened on it. Boudria letting a high, hard one go just below the pipe, as Jim stated, with Gamble thinking he was going to be hit by the puck. He ducked and didn't see it go in. Here's a chance for the Leafs to score by Norm Ullman. Mark Rayom had the puck bound off him as he knocked it down with his glove right off the face-off, and the play was just inside the Vancouver blue line, and Rayom lost possession of the puck as it bounded off his glove to the ice. Walton picked it up, took a couple of quick strides, and whipped a quick shot between Charlie Hodge and the post off his left side. Ullman gives the Leafs their first goal of the afternoon, and there's Charlie Hodge's shutout down the drain at 9:07. Just 7 seconds after the Vancouver goal. It's an unassisted goal at 9:07 as Rayom for a moment had possession there as he knocked down the puck with his glove. But then he couldn't get control of it when it went to the ice. Ullman picked it up and took a stride or two and whipped a quick wrist shot past Charlie Hodge, quite high on his left side. Play in the Vancouver zone. Ellis down in the corner. Ford centered it out in front for Henderson. Turned around. Tried to get a shot. The puck came out. Back to Selwood. He shoots into a crowd. It went high. And it slapped off the right boards by Doak. Picked up by Paymont. Paymont for Boudria went behind him. Now Ellis picks it up over the Vancouver line. In on Talon. Talon couldn't get the puck away from him. Ullman gets it. Throws it in front for Henderson. And Paymont checked in. Paymont back the other way. And they open it up. 5-1 is the score. Vancouver leads. Paymont at the Toronto line, ridden off by Ricky Lee. Selwood for the Leafs. Plays it out the boards right to Popeil. He winds up, he shoots, and it went off the heel of his stick. He tried to center it on the second try, and it wound up in the corner. Lee gets it there. Lee's long pass went off the skates to Henderson. Henderson at center over the Vancouver line. Here's a shot that Hodge caught and then held on to stop the play in the Vancouver zone. It's Vancouver 5, Toronto 1. Canucks hockey continues in a moment.
Travel time's a great time to get caught up on your correspondence with an IBM portable dictating unit. You can use the IBM portable anywhere, anytime. Record notes, memos, letters on the go. Check out the IBM portable dictating unit. Call IBM.
9:40 left in the hockey game. A loose puck in the Vancouver zone. The puck just dribbled past the Vancouver goal. It appeared to hit Young in front. Canucks trying to come out now with Murray Hall on the right wing, overskating the puck, goes back to his blue line to get possession. The Leafs seem to have come to life with that goal by Norm Ullman. Now Wilkins deep in his own zone. Off the left boards to Mackey. Head to Curtin back. He was checked. The puck came back to Mackey. Ahead for Hall at the Toronto line, going in on goal. The puck got away from him. And the Leafs come back with Monahan getting to center, but Mackey rode him off and comes up with the puck. Back to Wilkins. Wilkins across, almost intercepted by Keon. Young to Hall to Kurtenbach, but it's broken up. Back comes Jim Dory for Toronto. With Monahan taking the pass on the left. His shot went off hard. The rebound bounces over on the right side to Keon. Back at the blue line to Glennie. Glennie turning at the right side, cutting towards the goal. Watched by Mackey. Still Glennie with the puck. Tied up by Mackey. The pass went in the corner to Keon. Hit by Wilkins. Keon spins around with Wilkins near the corner. Now there's a jam up on the boards, and the puck is held to stop the play.
All it takes is something like a goal by Normie Allman to get the club skating again. The Leafs were dead, and this seems to have brought them on, as Jim has told you, with Andre Boudria making it 5-0 at the 9-minute mark, and then Allman right off the face-off. Jim explained Riom knocking the puck down and Allman firing it in unassisted for the 5-1 score. The Kurtenbach line has gone to the bench, and Murray Hall has been playing well on the right wing there after a so-so training camp. Play in the Vancouver zone. The Canucks starting out. Cullen on the right side with Corrigan. Cullen takes a shot. Gamble juggled it, but stopped it and swept it to the right for Selwood. He ran into Dan Johnson along the board. The puck still in play along the board. Harrison had it for a moment. Riom tried to keep it onside, lost it, and then upset Walton, and Riom was going to get a penalty. You might call it a good penalty, as Walton may have got away there if he hadn't been tripped by Mark Riom, who gets the gate. The score, Vancouver 5, Toronto 1, playing in Vancouver.
The Granville and 8th branch of the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce in Vancouver is pleased to be able to participate in bringing you this NHL hockey broadcast. It's one more way. More of us do more for you at the Commerce.
Penalty sends Mark Riom to the penalty box at 11:40 of this third period. Canucks with a 5-1 lead, playing much more confident, with much more confidence than they did on Friday night when they were beaten by Los Angeles. Kurtenbach ragging the puck in the Toronto zone to kill time at the penalty, still has it down in the corner, still along the boards with Selwood and Lundy, and they jam it and freeze it. Kurtenbach, great penalty killer. Out there with Lundy, Doak, and Wilkins. Face-off in the Leaf zone to the right. And on the face-off, the puck bounced right in front of Gamble, picked up by Selwood. Passes to Walton at center ice down the middle. At the Vancouver line, a slap shot and hit Doak, and that must have hurt. Here's another shot, and Hodge kicked that one out. At the right point, Selwood takes a shot, and he scores! A long drive by Selwood found its mark from the right forward, just inside the blue line. It may have been tipped, but it looked like it went all the way through a crowd to hit the far corner. And it's now Vancouver 5, Toronto 2. 12:07 will be the time of the goal. Selwood blasted it from the point. It may have been tipped in. It's exactly 3 minutes after the first Toronto goal. 9:07 Allman, 12:07 Selwood. Face off in the center ice zone. Canucks getting possession. Of course, as the goal is scored, Riom comes back on the ice. And that power play goal brings the Canucks back to full strength. A long shot by Dale Talon, stopped by Gamble. Boudria steals the puck. Here's a shot by Paymont. He misses the far corner. Play in the Toronto zone. Out come the Leafs now. Allman over the Vancouver line with Ellis. The pass for Ellis went behind him. Boudria gets the puck for the Canucks. Puts it out to center for Paymont. Allman knocks it down there, and the Leafs starting to come back a little bit. On the left to Henderson, cutting in on goal, getting in close. He shoots it hard, made a fine save off Henderson. Selwood scored that second Toronto goal unassisted at 12:07. It was not tipped in front. And all of a sudden, the Leafs are coming on, and that last rush by Henderson was dangerous. But Hodge made the big stop. The rush got all the Vancouver Canucks over on the opposite side, and Henderson went in by himself. Charlie Hodge came out to cut down the angle and made a good save. Face off in the Vancouver zone. Allman and Boudria now battling along the boards for the puck. Still in play along the boards. Boudria digs it out. It kicks loose. It's picked up now by Darryl Sly. On the left for Popeil. Popeil puts it in the Toronto zone. Glennie back for it. In behind Gamble. Plays it off the left boards. It came right to Fly. His shot was blocked and reached the net. Popeil out at center. Falls. Ellis gets the puck. Over the Vancouver line. Ellis winds up. He shoots it high. It deflects up in among the spectators. The score, Vancouver 5, Toronto 2. More NHL hockey in a moment.
The 1971 Mercury Montego, a great way to break out of your shell without breaking your budget. You like Montego's sporty look, handy size, and the better ideas that let you build it any way you want it. Montego, at your Mercury dealers now.
He's off in the Vancouver zone, the outer edge of the circle to Hodges left. That NHL goal is the first ever in the NHL for Brad Selwood. This is his first NHL game. Last year's Rookie of the Year in the Western League with the Canucks scores against the Canucks for the lead. Play at the Toronto line now with Dory passing it ahead. Henderson had to leave it as he would have been offside. And Rayom comes back to get the puck. Rayom passes it right in front of his own goal to Fly. Fly cutting out on the left side, gets to his own line, works his way to center, gives it to Popeil, who dumps it in. 6 minutes, 20 seconds left in this game. Vancouver 5, Toronto 2. Play in the lead zone. Glennie puts it in behind the net for Dory. Certainly isn't over yet the way the Leafs are starting to come back. There's a long pass that misses Allman. Goes the length of the ice. There'll be an icing call as Fly goes back to touch it. Toronto's called for icing the puck.
Alex Shibicky was a member of Lester Patrick's hockey clubs, and Lester used to drill in positional hockey, and there were even fines for offsides, and he's been pointing out to me, Jim, that the Vancouver Canucks during the last 4 minutes have left their positional hockey, which they played for most of the game, and the reason that Toronto's having success right now. Face off to the right of Gamble. Curtain back against Keon. Toronto getting possession. Selwood. Misses Keon with a long pass. The puck slides in the Vancouver zone. A race for it. Young getting to it first. There won't be icing as he's tied up by Keon along the boards, and they freeze the puck to stop the play. Curtin back. Been given the job of checking Dave Keon today. Facing off against the great Toronto center right now in the circle to Hodges' right. Keon draws it back. It comes to Lee. A long drive was blocked. Bounces out to center ice. Came off the boards to Curtin back, and he just dumps it in. The Canucks are dumping it in at every opportunity. Trying to protect the 3-goal lead with 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Selwood for the lead. Starting out, passes on the left side for Monahan. Monahan's ridden off the puck by Kurtenbach, who dumps it back in again. McMillan and Monahan, the wingers, with the Keon. The Canucks forechecking well. The Leafs having trouble in their own zone. Kurtenbach on the end boards, getting the puck, turning in the corner with it. Held along the boards by Monahan. The puck comes loose, and Kurtenbach kicks it back in. And finally, the play is stopped for a face-off in Toronto's territory. Reminder to hear the White Spot Overtime show after the game, the highlights of the game, the summary, the 3-star selection. Now Davidson will interview the Canucks star of the game from the Canucks dressing room. Face off to the left of Gamble in Toronto territory, Keon and Kurtenbach. And they're told to move out and someone else will face off, and Armstrong and Kurtenbach are having an argument, and now Keon joins in it too. Mackey and Hall, the wingers with Kurtenbach. It'll be Mackey who will move in to take the face-off. Wilkins and Young, the Canuck defense. Pat Quinn not dressed today, and Howie Young has moved into that spot. Tim Hargraves has agreed to terms, but is not dressed and has not yet played his first NHL game. Play in the Toronto zone, a jam up along the boards. The puck still in play. Finally cleared out to an open wing. Wilkins moves up, slaps it in the Toronto territory again. McMillan, bothered by Mackey, turned to get away from Mackey, who fell with Selwood along the board. Keon out at center for the Leafs. Over the Vancouver line, down the middle, winds up, takes a shot. Keon getting set. Here's a shot. He missed the far corner. Mackey turning in his own zone. Over on the right boards to Hall. Hall gets to his own line, ran into Monahan. The puck left sitting there. Kurtenbach comes over to take it, just dumps it in. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left. Changing on the move. Canucks leading 5-2. McMillan for the Leafs on the right side at center. Passes on the left wing to Monahan. Shoots it in the Vancouver zone. And Toronto change on the move. Howie Young gets the puck behind his own goal. Starting out on Hodges' left. Passes too far ahead for Wilkins, but it's picked up by Mackey to Wilkins.
Ahead for Corrigan, trying to break in the clear, but it didn't get through. Here's a breakaway for Keon. Getting in on goal, he shoots, and he shot wide to the backhander. Here's a long shot by Dory, knocked down in front. Keon was forced to an angle with a shot by Gary Doak, and he didn't really get that good a shot away, and a good chance there. Dory back for Toronto on the right side at center ice. At the Vancouver line, Dory moving in, it's offside as Mike Walton was in too soon on the right wing. The score, Vancouver 5, Toronto 2. This is Canucks hockey from Vancouver.
Hockey players can't afford sore, aching muscles. That's why Vancouver Canucks trainer Ed Shamlock relies on Rub A535 in the dressing room. Anti-phlogistin Rub A535, fast, effective relief for muscular aches and pain.
3 minutes and 57 seconds to play. Canucks leading the Leafs 5-2. Dory takes a long drive that hit his teammate Liddington, and that hurt. And an offside is called at the Canuck line, and Liddington, then forward, is skating around to shake off the pain of taking that shot on the ankle. Jim, nice sitting in with you today. I'm going to head over across the catwalk to the Vancouver Canucks dressing room below to interview the number one Vancouver Canucks star, and it could be one of many players right now. It's going to be interesting to see the selection today. Right, Al Davidson. Now the Canucks on the attack with Dan Johnson putting the puck in the Toronto zone. It goes right to Jim Dory. Gives it to Walton, turning at his own line. On the right wing now for Harrison. Hits the Vancouver line, got around Talon. The pass in front for Liddington. His backhander was partially blocked by Doak, who broke up the play. Johnson in his own zone. Behind the net for Talon. Talon coming out on the left. His pass went astray at center ice. Slides in the Toronto zone. Icing being waved off. As the linesman ruled Dory was in position. Loose puck in the Toronto zone. Picked up inside the blue line by Lundy. Lundy flips it across into the corner. Lundy out there. Play in the Toronto zone. A jam up in the corner, and the puck is held to stop the play. Dory pushing Corrigan around after the whistle. Talon then skates into it, and they just stand around, and nothing comes of it. 3 minutes and 8 seconds left. The weather in Vancouver today, this Thanksgiving weekend, cloudy, mild, about 50 degrees, some rain showers. And a special hello this afternoon to all hospital patients and shut-ins, those who can't get out to the games. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast this afternoon. If you're a Vancouver fan, you must be. 5-2, the Canucks lead with 3:08 left. Face-off to the left of Gamble. The draw comes back to Sly at the right point. Slaps it around on the boards in behind the Toronto goal. It comes around to the left wing for Popeil. He took a shot that Gamble stopped. Norm Allman now for the Leafs. Almost lost it to Boudria, but got away from him. Allman at his own blue line. Now at center ice. On the left for Lee, tied up by Paymont. They bounce along the boards near the corner. Puck still in play in the corner, and then there's a jam up, and they freeze it to stop the play. The Canucks will leave this evening for Seattle via bus, and will leave Seattle at midnight tonight for St. Louis. So they play tomorrow night. A shot by Selwood off a face-off in the Vancouver zone. Wide Hodge came out to steer away a bouncing puck. Boudria clears it down the ice. Lee going back after it. It'll be an icing call as Ricky Lee gets to the puck. Next week, a road trip for the Canucks. Monday night in St. Louis. Wednesday night in Chicago. Thursday night in Philadelphia. And their next home game is against the Boston Bruins. And there's an awful lot of fans looking forward to that one. Next Sunday afternoon here in Vancouver. Face-off to the left of Hodge. Allman and Boudria. With 2 minutes and 32 seconds left, and Boudria got the puck and just sweeps it down the ice. See what kind of a curler he is. It might go far enough for icing. The goaltender comes out and gets it as it was near the red line, and there's no icing. Allman in his own zone on the left for Henderson, trying to get away on the left, bothered by Sly, and Boudria comes across to take the puck. Passes ahead to Popeil. Paul Popeil on the right side at center, shoots the puck in the Toronto zone. Gamble leaves it. It goes around on the right boards to Murray, young defenseman used sparingly today. His pass went astray, and Sly just puts it in, but it's offside. Popeil trapped in the Toronto zone. The pace of the game has slowed right down. The Canucks dumping it in at every opportunity, protecting the lead, and some of the fans are starting for home. 15,542 here today. On the face-off at the Leaf blue line, Toronto getting possession. Brian Glennie coming out on the right, bothered by Boudria, the pass.
Almost stole the puck there again. Now Riom intercepts at center. DeBoudria shoots it in the Toronto zone. Murray picked it up. His pass misses Glennie. Glennie goes to the boards to get the puck. Lost it to DeBoudria, who just dumps it in again. In the Toronto zone, Popiel took out two Toronto players as he came up with the puck. Back to Riom. A shot on the net. Stopped by Gamble. Rebound goes to Paymont. Tried to center it for Popiel and failed to do so. Ellis picked it up for Toronto. Drink wide to Glennie coming out of the left. Over to Henderson on the left wing at center ice at the Vancouver line. Play going in with Ellis with the puck forced back at the blue line. Now it's picked up by Glennie, ridden off by Riom. Popiel shoots the puck down the ice. Monahan is back for it, and the Canucks are being called for icing the puck with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Curtin back in the first period. Mackey, Johnson, and Mackey again in the second period. Boudria in the third period. The goal scorers for Vancouver, giving them a 5-0 lead before Ullman and Selwood scored for the Leafs. Face off in Vancouver territory to Hodges left. Curtin back and Keon. Puck left in the circle, comes back to Selwood at the right point. His slap shot. They score! It was deflected past Hodge. Doak and Monahan get up pushing and shoving and high sticking, and now they try to fight. Monahan and Doak is pounding Monahan down on the ice. Gary Doak landing some right hands to Monahan, who was slipped and down on the ice. Someone is trying to get in there. Keon is trying to help out Monahan, but Mackey has Keon held off pretty good. Selwood and Kurtenbach are paired off. Talon and McMillan, and they're just sort of watching it. Doak and Monahan, the main event. The linesman's in a bad shape down there in between them. Finally, they break them up. Looks like Doak may have got the decision in that one. After the goal was scored, they started the fight. We'll have to see who gets credit for the goal. It was definitely deflected by Hodge, and whether or not it hit a Canuck or a Toronto player in front, we'll have to wait for the announcement. It's 5-3 for the Vancouver Canucks. The time of the third Toronto goal is 18:55. Doak of the Canucks and Monahan of the Leafs are getting penalties here, probably majors for fighting. And now they're gathering the equipment and delivering it. New rule of the NHL, when a player is sent to the penalty box after a fight, he just goes, he doesn't bother picking up his own equipment. Someone else will do that. That's to stop them from coasting around, prolonging the bout, using the excuse that they have to stay out there to pick up the equipment. The penalty to Doak will be the 6th Vancouver penalty, and the penalty to Monahan the 6th Toronto penalty. So they've been even today in that category. In the last moments of the hockey game with 1 minute and 5 seconds left. Still no announcement on the goal. The shot came from the right side, but it appeared to be deflected. Past Hodge, who had no chance. And we're still waiting on the announcement on just who will get credit for the goal. It's 5-3 for the Canucks. And now there's some discussion before the face-off to resume play. Now the announcement on the goal. Keon gets the goal. 18:55, the time of the goal by Keon from Selwood. And Keon has been one of the few bright lights for the Leafs in the hockey game. The penalties will be majors, although not announced yet. The teams remain at full strength with the simultaneous majors. For the last minute of the game now, the Canucks in possession at center ice, but Ullman gets the puck away from Kurtenbach and dumps it in. The goaltender is now out of the net for Toronto. The Toronto goal is empty as Gamble has gone to the bench at center ice. The Leafs in possession. The puck stolen by Mackey, trying to get a shot at the open net. A bouncing puck at the Toronto line. Mackey took a whack at it again. Kurtenbach just failed to get a stick on it. The Toronto goal remains empty, the Leafs disorganized. Now they come out. Ellis on the right side. Feeds the puck ahead on the right wing for Allman. Going in with Keon. Allman passes for Keon. Hit his skate and went to the corner. Mackey covers up along the boards and the play is stopped. The puck came loose just as the whistle blew. 27 seconds left. Toronto goal is empty as Gamble went to the bench. Just less than a minute to go. They're just announcing the majors to Monahan and Doak. Just after the third Toronto goal. It's 5-3. Canucks lead with 27 seconds to go. The Leafs have pulled their goaltender. Then Harrison, Walton, Allman, Ellis, Henderson, and Keon. All forwards. All experienced forwards. Harrison hasn't had as much as the other two. Harrison, of course, well known in Kamloops. That's his hometown. Seeing a lot of ice time. Normally a center iceman playing right wing for the Leafs these days. Canucks making some changes to get organized for the face-off here. Want Kurtenbach out there to face off against Keon in the circle to Hodges' left. Mackey is applauded as he goes to the Vancouver bench. On the face-off, the puck comes back to Walton. Here's a shot, went wide. The puck in the Vancouver zone, picked up by Allman. Try to play it around on the boards. It comes loose. Corrigan backhands it down the ice towards the open goal. He missed the net. A race for the puck. Johnson getting to it, and he's beaten to it by Walton, who gets the icing call. Dan Johnson just about beat Walton with that puck. But Walton won the race to get the icing call with 12 seconds to go. Missing out on his added excitement here with a late Toronto goal, a fight, and now the open net. The Canucks are trying to get some shots at. Face off to the right of Pod. Kurtenbach and Keon again. On the face-off, the puck came in front. Rayón plays it off the boards and out to center ice. Allman going back for it. Allman in his own zone, cutting in front of the open goal. Passes off the left boards with the crowd chanting out the second. The game is over. There's the final whistle. The score. The Vancouver Canucks 5, the Toronto Maple Leafs 3. A summary in a moment.
All we sisters and brothers, we knew we were part of a real thing. They came already from faraway places, and you never see such love on so many faces. Hearing song after song, it was all so refreshingly real. It's the real thing. Again, the world wants to say it's the real thing. Coca-Cola is Coke.
15,542 fans this afternoon saw the Vancouver Canucks score their first ever win in the National Hockey League, as they jumped into a 5-0 lead and hung on to defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-3. The Canucks led 1-0 at the end of the first period on a goal by Orland Kurtenbach, scored when Vancouver was killing a penalty. The Canucks took full command in the second period, outscoring the Leafs 3-0. Wayne Mackey scoring 2 of those goals. Dan Johnson, with his first NHL goal, scored the other. Andre Boudria, one of the standouts for Vancouver in the game, made it 5-0 before the Leafs came back on late goals by Ullman, Selwood, and Keon. Vancouver outshot Toronto 35-19, and through most of the game were the better hockey club. Toronto didn't really come on until the last stages of the third period. By that time, Vancouver appeared to have full command. The final score again was the Vancouver Canucks 5 and the Toronto Maple Leafs 3. You'll hear a complete summary of the hockey game, the 3-star selection, the interview with the Canucks star of the game, and other highlights shortly. We'll stand by. The final score again, the Vancouver Canucks 5, the Toronto Maple Leafs 3. This is Jim Robson in Vancouver. Stand by for our post-game program, Overtime.